All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Let's pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that I have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come by Abba's name, and you receive me not. And when others shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? Well, all praise, esteem to Abba and Shamahim in the name of Yahushua. Shalom, Brother Nate. Shalom, Jay. Let's hit this Psalms 145, man. Pick it up about verse 8. Yahuwah, gracious, full of compassion, slow to anger, and of great mercy. Yahuwah, good to all, and his tender mercy over all his works. All your works shall praise you, O Yahuwah, and your saints shall baruch you. They shall speak of the esteem of your Malkuth and talk of your power, to make known to the sons of Adam his mighty acts and the esteemed majesty of his Malkuth. Your Malkuth, an everlasting Malkuth, and dominion throughout all generations. Shalom, East, man. Man, I had meant to call you earlier too. Y'all willing, man? You call me when I'm done. I'll call you tomorrow. My mind had done started drifting. Shalom, Brother Marcus. But come over here to Romans 14 real quick, live, man. Make sure that page in his book. Let me make sure that's even what I want. Yeah. Romans 14 and 17. The Malkuth of Elohim is not in meat and drink, but righteousness and shalom and joy. Shalom, Brother Ellis, and the Ruach HaKadosh. Now I'm leading to something, and it's based off something that I heard somebody say. So just bear with me. Shalom, Brother Demetrius, man. So check it. What we got? I did see some people, and they were using it's a lady, I think she's a Christian, man. And she was just talking about the aspect, Shalom, Mother Shalom, of women who hyphenate. Now, that's not what we finna look at. I'm just adding that in. It's going to be a part of what we're finna look at. About women who hyphenate their last names and have no desire to have their husband's last name. You know what I'm talking about? I even seen a lady say, my daddy ain't got no sons, so I'm keeping his last name so that when me and my husband have a son, the lady said she was married. What'd she say? That I can continue my father's legacy. The sad part is that this woman don't understand that the last name does not denote who legacy that child belongs to. It's the seed. It could have your father's last name all it wants, but it belongs to the seed of the man of whom it emanated from. Now, we're going to use that as a point of reference for something else. But she was just going back and forth as the text. Because people were arguing that, okay, people in the scriptures didn't have last names, and they didn't. You know what I'm talking about? But nevertheless, we will deal with the aspect of being called by your husband's name, because we have been talking about how a wise woman builds her husband's house the week before, and then what we have to deal with this evening is along those lines. And these are aspects of the thing that manifests and shows his dominion in his kingdom, whether you realize it or not. But we'll look at the Hebrew word for surname, because that's the common term, the proper term that is used for last name and what that really means. Because we didn't talk to y'all about that before. If you naming yourself, if you're making your last name Israel, you have a complete and utter lack of understanding, considering that Israel isn't a last name. That was a man's first name. You know what I'm talking about? And we just do stuff because somebody else interpreted a passage and told you that, and you ran off tackle with it. You know what I'm saying? Not even realizing what it is that you've done. You can't give yourself the last name of Israel, considering that it is a man's name, his first name, what his name was changed to based off of an action. You know what I'm talking about? Nevertheless, that action is representative of who this man is. Now, when I explain to them get out that trash can. What I explained to them what Shem was, and this is the aspect that we'll get to this evening. Of course, you know, Shem is name, and it usually designates and denotes the nature, character, and authority of the individual. When you become married to a man, you're supposed to be taking on his nature and his character while simultaneously coming under his authority. If you do not have a desire to come under that man's authority, nor also conform yourself to his nature and character, then in actuality, in reality, you are not a wife. You're just an individual who is married. And truth be told, you would be what the text say is that you would bring rottenness to this bones because you would continually shame him. Take that from her. Let her have the one and just take the pack. See, that's all she wanted, the one. Let her have the one and take the pack. You know what I'm saying? Prayerfully, you understand what I'm saying to you. But you know what? That's what I wanted. Come over here to Revelation chapter 2. That's what I wanted. Praise God. Yeah. You could make it verse 1. I'll read all that. I really don't need all of it, but it ain't gonna hurt nobody. Revelation 2:1. Unto the Malachim of the synagogue of Ephesians, write, these things saith he that hold the 7 stars in his right hand, who walk in the midst of the 7 golden candlesticks. I know your works and your labor and your patience, and how you cannot bear them which are evil, and you try them which say they are apostles and are not, and have found them liars. That goes to the aspect of what we were talking about last week, and that Job, and the aspect that you cannot teach yourself. Unfortunately, many people do not know what is an apostle, how one qualifies as an apostle. Most individuals believe that you have to walk with Mashiach to be an apostle. But let me ask y'all this question. How many people walk with the Lord? When he was here on the earth, most people say, you ain't an apostle if you ain't walk with Jesus, if you ain't walk with Yahushua. Well, let me ask you this question. How many people walk with him? Where can you go at in the text and you can be able to identify how many people walk with him? Because I'm going to be honest with you. If you think the 12 was the only people who walked with him, you sadly mistaken. You sadly mistaken. And you know what I'm talking about? And you're only sadly mistaken because individuals didn't take the time to show you this. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Now, Paul didn't walk with him. Paul didn't walk with him. That's why people say, well, Paul couldn't be an apostle because he didn't walk with him. And now I'm mentioning this for a reason. Because most people, you're not studying the text comprehensively to get a command of the text. You studying the stuff that seems interesting to you, or the stuff that you can go back and forth with people about, or the stuff that you think this will make somebody come into the word versus actually having an understanding of the word. Come over here to Acts chapter 1 and verse 15, man, and I'll help you out to understand that walking with Yahushua does not necessarily make you an apostle. Because how can you try to find out if somebody's an apostle if you don't even know what qualifies them to be as such? Now, this is not for our main core people who've been here for a season. This is for the people who have no idea how you're even able to try somebody to see if they're an apostle. Acts 1 and 15. And in those days, Peter stood in the midst of the disciples and said, and the number of the names together were about 120. Men, brethren, the scripture must needs have been fulfilled, which the Ruach HaKodesh by the mouth of David spake concerning Judas, which was a guide to them that took Yahushua. For he was numbered with us and obtained part of this ministry. Now this man purchased the field with a reward of iniquity, and falling headlong, he burst asunder in the midst, and his bowels gushed out. It was known unto all the dwellers at Jerusalem, insomuch as that field is called in their proper tongue, Al-Kadama, that is to say, the field of blood. For it is written in the book of Psalms, let his habitation be desolate, and let no man dwell therein, and its bishopric let another take. Wherefore these men which have companied with us all the time that the Lord Yahushua went in and out among us. beginning from the immersion of Yachanan until that same day that he was taken up from us. One must be ordained with us of his resurrection. Notice that it said that these 120 men were with them from the jump street. So if you think he just had 12 disciples, you are grossly misinformed. He has 12 apostles, but he had more than 12 disciples that walked with him. Come on, I'll show you some more. Let's come over here to Matthew, I think it's chapter 10. I just need you to know that walking with Yahushua does not necessarily make you an apostle. What made those men apostles is that Yahushua in Luke chapter 24 taught them that the whole book was about him, and it was just those 11 men there. Those other 109 disciples, they weren't there for that. They weren't present for that. Get the likes up on YouTube, by the way. That ain't what I want. Where is that? Hi, Joanne. Hi. No, Matthew 10 ain't what I want. What you say, Joanne? Huh? Yeah. What else? What you talking about? Where you going? Huh? Who said that? I don't know nothing about that. Come over here to Mark chapter 6. What? Yeah, I'm going there in a second. I need this Mark chapter 6 first. Mark 6 and 7. And he called the 12 and began to send them forth 2 by 2. And he gave them power over unclean ruachs and commanded them that they should take nothing for journey, save only staff only, no scrip, no bread, no money in purse. But be shod with sandals and not put on 2 coats. And he said unto them, in what place soever you enter into a house, there you abide till you depart from that place. And whatsoever you shall, whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear you when you depart, then shake off the dust from under your feet for a testimony against them. For truly I said unto you, it shall be more tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah. Stop. In the day of judgment than for that city. And they went out and preached that men should repent. Now, let's go over here and take a look where it was 70 men, 2 by 2, that he sent out. And then we'll hit this John 6. John 6 was going to be the last one. Stop, Joanne. Luke chapter 10, verse 1. Stop, Joanne. You're going to fall. Luke 10 and 1. After these things, the Lord appointed other 70 also, and sent them 2 by 2 before his face into every city and every place, whither he himself would come. Therefore he said unto them, the harvest truly great, but the laborers few. Pray you therefore that the Lord of the harvest, that he would send forth laborers into his harvest. Now, we've already talked about that before. I give you the brief for people who don't know what that is. Do you understand when Yasharal came up out of Egypt, man, the only person that would dare to teach them, man, was Moses and Aaron? That's what he gave them the Levites for. This man had to teach 600,000 people, men, not counting women and children. Don't you understand how plentiful that harvest is, but the laborers are few? Do you not understand that the Levites is not a large tribe and they were tasked with instructing the entire nation of Yasharal? It wasn't, oh, I'm a such and such and I'm a teach and such. That's new nigga stuff. The Levites was the only one who taught the word. Let me tell y'all something too, man, what another big problem is amongst Yasharal in this day and time, man, and they don't understand something. Most individuals do not start and create assemblies according to what the word has stated. How else is the people going to get the word? You can't get the word studying at the house by yourself, man. No matter what these people tell you, man, you study accompanied of what the man of Elohim who has been sent to teach the word has taught you to make sure that that's correct. How you going to have a baseline of understanding if ain't nobody taught you? But all you got to do is go back and look in the book of Nehemiah. When the skilled scribe Ezra stood up and went to teaching the people the word, man, it was other men with him, and they had to teach the whole people who came out of Babylon at that particular time. And they say he caused them to understand the reading. See, we want to get in this aspect that you believe That you can just understand the word because you popped it open, or because you know you're Israelite, or because I keep commandments. And that's why it's so much bad work out here. You know what I'm talking about? Then on top of that, you got things where the setup is where you don't have no structure and order as for how the word is administered, that the people can actually be held accountable for the things that they're doing. See, we like to turn a blind eye to what people got going on. You know what I'm talking about? And you think Yahuwah pleased. That man set this stuff up for a reason. See, the reason is that we want to follow a model like the nations have. And you can't do that. Because the next time that Yasharal has a government, as I told you about a week or so ago, Yahuwah going to be the head of that government, not you. Not you. So what he got established is for apostles, prophets, preachers, teachers, and evangelists to be the ones to guide the people while they patiently abide, you know what I'm talking about, having a quiet and peaceful life in the beauty of Kadash until this man implemented dominion and rule over the whole earth. And if you don't like that, then you got a problem with Yahuwah. You ain't got a problem with me. You got a problem with God. And that's the thing that ain't people telling people. Niggas ain't got no problem with the people who teaching the word. They got a problem with the word, which means they got a problem with Yahuwah. And I ain't got nothing to do with that. You deal with it when you sin. Let me tell y'all something, man. And we were talking about this the other day. And we might glance back over it and look at it. Hold on, there. Just to examine it again. I'm be honest with you, man. A lot of people of the nation of Yasharal got the spirit of Cain. Do any of y'all know what I mean when I say that they got the spirit of Cain? Would anybody like to answer why I say that the majority of people in the house of Yasharal have the spirit of Cain? And it ain't for hating their brother either. Let me see. He say, what did it say? Judas had the power. Yeah, he did. He did. Judas was doing everything that they were doing, bro. Because they jealous and wicked. I can't even argue with that, bro. I can't. That wasn't what I was going for. But I can't even argue that, bro. Because you ain't lie. Sean just said it. They want to give Yahuwah what they want to give him and not what he told them to give him. That's right. Nisha said the same thing. And then you're going to be around here looking like, I can't argue with that either, Crystal. And then you'll be around here looking like how Cain looked. Why he say, why you sitting around here with your face ugly for? If you do good, you'll be accepted. You cannot give this man what you want to give him, and you can't serve him how you want to serve him. You got to serve him how he told you to serve him. You got to give him what he told you to give him, or he ain't taking it. And you can play with it, and you can be like, that nigga don't know what he talking about. Play with it when you see him. Because Cain came and brought that man son, and that man said, man, I don't want that. You know what I wanted. What you brought this for? And he's sitting around there looking ugly. You know what I'm talking about? He said, man, come, let's just take a look at what he said to the man. Because you need to pay attention to it, man. It's not a game. Hold the Luke 10, because I'm coming back to Luke 10. And after I come back to Luke 10, before we come back to Luke 10, we're going to go Genesis chapter 4. I think the other one was in my brain. Give me a second. It'll come back if the Lord allows. Come over here to Genesis chapter 4, man. Look what the man said, man. Genesis 4 and 3. In the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought the fruit of the ground, an offering unto Yahuwah. And Abel, he also brought the firstlings of his flock and the fat thereof. And Yahuwah had respect unto Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain and his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. Yahuwah said unto Cain, why are you wroth, and why is your countenance fallen? You don't understand it. That very moment, Cain hated God. Oh, that's why I want Matthew 15 after this. Cain hated God. He said, if you've done well, shall you not be accepted? If you do not well, sin lie at the door, and unto you his desire, and you shall rule over him. See, at this point, because Cain can't take out his wrath on Yahuwah, he took it out on Abel. It's not even just the wanting the accolades and elevation, Crystal. God rejected him. See, we'll focus more on Abel. Abel is not the focus. Because it don't even mention that he seen Abel bring this here. Pay attention to what happened. Cain brought this man anything, and he say, man, I don't respect that. And that nigga face got balled up. His face didn't get balled up because of what Abel had done. His face got balled up because God said, I don't know what you brought this for, boy. Then he turned around and said to him, man, if you do well, won't you be accepted? You got to pay attention to that. When Cain went to balling up his face, he was balling up his face because he was mad with Yahuwah. And since he couldn't take that wrath out on Yahuwah, he took it out on Abel. See, that's what the wicked are going to do to you, man. They want to serve Yahuwah how they want to serve him. They want to do it how they want to do it. When he reject them, they going to get mad. And since they can't fight Yahuwah, they going to come after you. Because he that despiseth not man, but Elohim. Because he's given unto us his Ruach HaKodesh. See, Abel was down with Yahuwah. So the wrath that Cain had towards Abel had nothing to do with Abel. It's that he wanted to kill God. You know what I'm talking about? We don't be paying attention to that because we really be thinking that stuff be about us, and it don't. People have a burning displeasure in their heart and in their soul at the name of Yahuwah. And we walk around here thinking everybody love God just because you hear this goofy stuff that people be saying, man. You think because a nigga say he Israel and he down with Israel, you nigga, who gives a damn if you love Israel and you hate Yahuwah? What good is that? Why would you even want to be down with a nigga who's showing you in his life that he hate God, but he say he love you because we are the same nation? You got to be smoking crack and straight up and down stupid. Yeah, we can read John 15 also. You got to be straight up and down stupid. Because if they don't love God, I'm trying to tell you, they don't love you either. If you serve Yahuwah and you a representation of Yahuwah, you think your bloodline is going to keep that nigga from killing you. It ain't. That nigga hate God, boy. That nigga going to do you in. But you know what? Don't listen to me, man. Just keep out here skinning and grinning, man. That's how I know this. See, let me tell you something, man. And this is something about with black people too, man. That we some of the lamest, stupidest people walking this earth. Because everybody want to have a part of street culture and hood culture. You enamored with it. The women want to mess with men who come from that, but she don't come from it. Goofy niggas who don't come from that want to act like they are that. And you niggas will get ate alive out here on these streets because you lame as hell. You know what I'm talking about? You can't peep game when it's coming. You don't understand human nature. You know what I'm talking about? You really think that niggas is influenced by music, movie, and TVs who really out here on the street? It's you goofy niggas who ain't never been involved with that that's influenced by that. But niggas who really out here, like who really, really out here, they not influenced by that. They believe the music is just a soundtrack to the life that they actually live. Niggas who actually out here, they don't look at these rappers like they real gangsters and thugs. They look at him as this nigga's a caricature of who I actually am and what I'm actually living. Most of y'all don't know murderers. Most of you have never been in a room with a man who's taken another man's life. You don't know that type of interaction. That's just a song in a movie to you. But have you ever sat down and had a conversation with a killer? Do you know what it is to look into the eyes of a man who you know done took another man's life? Do you really know dudes who pull kick those? Carjackers, prostitutes, and whores? Y'all ain't around that. Y'all around here being the character of what you seen on TV. And then you think you could speak about that. Boy, you's a goofy and a lame. Sit down somewhere, man. How you gonna talk about gang banging? You ain't never gang bang, never been around a gang bang and don't know nothing about that culture. You don't know nothing about that. They live a whole totally different life than you. And if you had to be in that environment, you'd get swallowed alive. This is why the Lord told you to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove, because you're supposed to know how to navigate around this type of stuff. But you're lame. So you ain't even going to see it coming. Boy, these sinners going to take you out because you ain't going to see it coming because you're lame, you're goofy, you're weird, you're not peeping the game. You walk around here like a damn fool. And these people going to eat you alive, man. Paul, you know what I'm talking about? That's what's gonna happen to you. I don't want it to happen to you, but I'm telling you, that's what's gonna happen to you because you ain't peeping the play. You ain't seeing the game from a mile away. Man, most of you, brother, man, you supposed to peep the sour moves and nigga do 4-5 moves before he do it. It should be very rare that what a man do catch you off guard. It should only catch you off guard when you just was like, man, you were really locked in with him and you ain't see that coming. You would expect that from him. But at the end of the day, how you don't even know the character of the men that you surround yourself with? How you don't know why you think a lot of dudes get caught up with scallywags and freak holes, man? Because you're not even paying attention to this broad. You ain't even paying attention how she move, how she think. You ain't looking at her in certain situations and see how she react, how she conduct herself. Hell, half y'all don't look at niggas in the eyes to see in their soul. But let me tell you something, man. I told little brother the other day, man, boy, you could look at, man, I'd have seen if you could look in their eyes and see, boy, she got hoe in her. You know what I'm talking about? You can look at a couple niggas' eyes, boy, that boy, they're a coward, boy. That boy not finna do nothing. Matthew 15, man. That's why so many people get caught up with insincere people. Because you walk around here with your head stuck in the ground. Matthew 15:1. Muffin, bring me that other glass bottle out of there. Then came to Yahushua scribes and Pharisees, which are Jerusalem, saying, why do your disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. But he answered and said unto them, why do you also transgress the commandment of Elohim by your tradition? Thank you. For Elohim saying, honor your Abba and your Emma, and let him that curse Abba and Emma, let him die to death. But you say, whoever shall say to Abba or Emma, a gift by whatsoever you might be profited by me, and honor not as Abba or as Emma, thus have you made the commandment of Elohim of none effect by your tradition. Hypocrites. Well, did Isaiah prophesy you, saying, this people draw nigh unto me with their mouth and honor me with lips, but the heart is far from me. But in vain do they worship me, teaching doctrines, the commandments of men. See, that's what's going on with a lot of stuff, boy. A lot of niggas got teachings of men, boy. A lot of people out here fooling with doctrines and commandments of men, boy. And you're going to go to hell. He said in vain, you're doing it for nothing. You ain't going to get nothing. The same way Abel didn't get nothing, you ain't going to get nothing. You cannot serve this man how you want to serve him. You cannot give this man what you want to give him. He will reject you. I'm not telling you this to make you feel bad. I'm telling you this so you could know. Man, I was telling, man, me and Will Trav were talking about it the other day, man. You know what I'm talking about? Like, man, you know something, man? You know it's a lot of dudes teach people the word, man, don't even give them no game in life. All we get is some doggone doctrine. Nigga can't even get no game. You niggas too old to be out here teaching the word and the nigga can't get no game, man. I'm talking about game to survive in life, bro. Niggas act like they got to be so super godly all the time. Nigga, you don't live like that for real, bro. Let me tell y'all something. And it's no disrespect to nobody who do it. If you come up on us, man, and you see me, man, I'm not finna shalom you to death, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, because I don't talk like that. I don't knock nobody who do. I know it's people who like, that's how they actually talk. And then I know it's brews who feel like they got to say that when they come across other brews. I don't talk like that, bro. So if I see you, man, I'll be like, man, what's happening with you, man? You good? What's good, my G? What's happening with you? What's the deal is, man? What's really, this how I talk. I'm not finna be like, shalom, my key. I'm not doing all that, bro. I don't talk like that, bro. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not coming at you with all praises after everything that you say. I can say, praise God, praise the Lord, praise you. I don't talk like that, bro. I'm not calling, you know what I'm talking about? It be sounding forced like it ain't genuine. I'm not coming at you, grace and peace. I don't talk like that, bro. If I say it to you, that mean I mean it. Man, let me tell you something too, man, to be honest with you, right? This is what people don't understand, boy. If I take my time to reach out to you, to talk to you, whatever medium it can be done, and you know you can call me and talk to me, man. Pause indeed. You know what I'm saying? That mean I fool with you, bro. That's male or female. I mean, a fool with you, man. I want to give you some game, man, so your life can be better, so you can have the success in whatever endeavor that you partaking in. Ain't that what we supposed to be on, man? Ain't you supposed to care to set you see your brother or your sister do well in whatever it is that they trying to do? Or is we just going to be out here pump faking and hesitate? You know what I'm saying? What it's going to be? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that every brew is like this. That's not what I'm saying. But y'all know what I'm talking about. If you've been around brews, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Shalom, Brother Reynolds. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Just be yourself, man. You come around this point, man, if you come to Jacksonville, Florida, man, you come around here and kick it with us, man, just be yourself, man. Just be yourself. You ain't got to put on nothing. Cause I promise to you, I'm not finna switch up because you came around here. I'm gonna be the same nigga I wore the day before you pulled up. And that's real. Brother Nate said, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm down with you. And anybody who done came through here know, boy, I'm gonna be myself, boy. Who you see on the camera, man, boy, that's who I am when the camera is off. I'm the same person every single solitary day. I mean, we told Travis here, man, nigga finna cook out one day, and nigga had to, I think he said, Will told him, man, he said, hey, man, nigga ain't cooking out because you down here, bro. Nigga was gonna do this whether you came or not. Man, because me and Travis talking about this here, man. Let me tell y'all something, man. If y'all was to slide down here, bro, we could go out and do something, bro. We're not doing that because you're here, because we would do that anyway. It's not, oh, we got people down here, so we got to do this here. I don't care if you come down here or not. If we wasn't going nowhere that night, we ain't going. Now, if you say you want to slide somewhere, then you know what? We'll pop out with you. But we're not going to do nothing different just because people come around, because we got to feel like we got to put on this particular, you know what I'm talking about, ambiance and image that you might absolutely not. I tell you straight down, man, I'm tired. I'm going to bed, man. I got to go to the gym. I got to go to work tomorrow. You know what I'm talking about? But if you want to kick it at the high, man, you come to the high, man, and we can kick it. What I'm saying is, be a real person, man. Be yourself. If people not going to accept you for being who you are and the beauty of Kadash, then they not even worth being in your presence, man. If you feel like you got to be somebody that you're not, unless you just pretending to be righteous, but you really a sinner. And at that point, yeah, you're going to get from around us. You ain't going to want to be around us. You're not. But yeah, man, be yourself, man. You ain't got to do all that, man. You who are good, man. They live life, man. Stand on their word, man. You got to do all the extra stuff. Come on back to Luke 10, man. I'm going to read verse 1 more time, man. After these things, the Lord appointed other 70 also and sent them 2 by 2 before his face into every city and place whither he himself would come. Therefore he said unto them, the harvest truly great, but the laborers few. Pray you therefore to the Lord of the harvest that he would send forth laborers into his harvest. You know, most brews don't even pray that this man send laborers into his harvest. But this is what the man told you, though. He said you ought to pray that he send men to teach the word. Because if you ain't got enough men to teach the word, that means the people can't get it. And if the people can't get it, the people going to hell. Go your way, and behold, I send you forth as lamb among wolves. Carry neither purse nor scrip nor shoes. Salute no man by the way. And whatsoever house you enter first, say shalom to this house. And if the son of shalom be there, your shalom shall rest upon it. If not, it shall turn to you again. And in the same house remain eating and drinking such things as they give, for the laborer is worthy of his hire. Go not from house to house. See, I just wanted y'all to hear that part for a reason. Man, now this, of course, everybody don't do this like what he talking about with the apostles. But you notice he told them don't go from house to house, but stay where you at. Meaning don't exploit the people and try to get this and get that from this house and that house and this house and that house. If I done put it in these people's spirit to look out for you, sit your black behind there. They gonna look out for you. They gonna take care of you. You ain't got to do all that. Because the work that you doing, you worthy to be paid for it. But I'm going to be honest with you. You know what I'm talking about? Most people don't value people who preach the word. I think they don't value it based off of their negative experiences in whatever congregations, assemblies, whether Christian or Hebrew that they done came from. But a lot of people don't really understand the value that the preacher giving you. You can't quantify that. That's the same token that the value that Yahuwah give, you can't quantify that. Because in reality, you can't pay that back. There's no amount of money you can give Yahuwah to pay back the value that he gives. You know what I'm talking about? That's why he tell the preachers, don't be greedy for filthy lucre. Don't be trying to use what I gave you to get some money, because the money will nowhere come close to the value that you've given by teaching the people about me. And if you don't have enough understanding by preaching the word to understand that money cannot equate to the value given, then you a beta male sent man, giant, a false prophet, a bust, and a sucker, and truly Yahuwah ain't sent you. Come on back to Revelation chapter 2, man. So I went through all that just to show you that just because you they walk with Yah. Oh, I didn't read John 6, my bad. John chapter 6, my bad. Matter of fact, John 6 and then John 15. My bad. Them the two dares put on there. That's my fault. John 6 and 55. After that, John 15, maybe 17 and 18. For my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. This is John 6 and 55. He that eat my flesh and drink my blood dwell in me, and I in him. As Ka Abba hath sent me, and I live by Abba, so he that eat me, even he shall live by me. This is that bread which come down from Shamahim. Not as your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead, he that eateth this bread shall live forever. This thing said he in the synagogue as he taught in Capernaum. Many therefore of his disciples, when they heard, said, this is a hard saying, who can hear it? When Yahushua knew in himself that his disciples murmured at it, he said unto them, do this offend you? And if you shall see the son of Adam ascend up where he was before, it is the Ruach that make alive. The flesh profit nothing. The words that I speak unto you are Ruach and are life. But there are some of you that believe not. For Yahushua knew from the beginning who they were that believed not and who should betray him. He said, therefore said I unto you that no man can come unto me except it were given unto him of my Abba. From that, many of the disciples went back and walked no more with him. Then said Yahushua unto the 12, will you also go away? Then Simon Peter answered him, Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life, and we believe and are sure that you are Hamashiach, the son of the living Elohim. Now listen here, right? So I guess those men who start walking with him could be considered apostles too, huh? If that's all, if that's what you think that is. An apostle is an emissary and an ambassador. And for him to be an emissary and an ambassador of Hamashiach, he has to possess a certain information. He has to possess it. And for him to possess it, he would actually have to get it from Yahushua himself. Let's take a look at John 15. We'll look at Galatians 2. We'll go back to Revelation 2. And that page is ripped. So let me swing over here to John 15 and 17. John 15 and 18. If the world hates you, know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love its own. But because you are not of the world and I've chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. Do you understand that he was talking about bruise here? That he chosen them out of? And that's who that was that hated them? These were not Gentiles. These were not the nations. He was talking about you. He was talking about you. See, we like to see the stuff that we think gonna be negative and ascribe it to people that he wasn't talking to or talking about. Verse 20, remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. Because it wasn't no Romans persecuting that man. If they kept my saying, they will keep yours also. See, Luke 10 shows you who he's son of to, what the sayings that they would keep. We didn't read it all. Go read it for yourself. But all these things they will do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. That's what Cain did. He didn't know God. That's why he did that to Abel. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin. But now they have no cloak for their sin. Don't you realize that Cain didn't have no sin until Abel came and did them works? Then Cain ain't have no cover for his sin. Because Cain hated Yahuwah the whole time. He that hate me, hate my Abba also. If I had not done among them the works which no other man did, they had not had sin. But now have they seen and hated both me and my Abba, but that the word might be fulfilled that is written in their law, they've hated me without a cause. But when the Comforter is come, who I will send unto you from Abba, the Ruach of truth which proceed from Abba, he shall testify of me. And you shall also bear witness because you have been with me from the beginning. Notice the key component is that if a man has the Comforter, the Ruach of truth, the Ruach HaKadosh, he gonna testify Yahushua HaMashiach. If you say you got the Ruach and you not testifying to Yahushua HaMashiach, you a liar and the truth ain't in you. If you say you got the Ruach and all you talking about is the law and we Israel, I already know that ain't in you. See, I don't got to run around and say he ain't got the spirit. I already gonna know you ain't got it. Because he telling me what it is and what it ain't. Man, we'll sit back and see the text and be like, nah, that ain't what it is. Man, the man said what he said, man, and it is what it is. It ain't what you want it to be. It's what he said it's going to be. And if that offends you, close the book up and go live your life. Go have fun. Go to hell doing what you want to do. Don't go to hell half-stepping. It don't make sense. Either be all in or all out. The man already told you he don't want you lukewarm. He wants you hot or cold. Be all in or be all out. If you're going to serve God and serve him with your whole mind, heart, and soul and strength and get a full reward. Because that half-stepping, you ain't getting nothing but reject it. And you can let these brews out here, man, blow, you know what I'm saying, smoke up your butthole and make it go for the banana in the tailpipe, Paul. But I'm trying to tell you, man, you ain't going to get nothing from this man. You're not going to get nothing from this man. Be all in or go to hell. And then you have to say to yourself, why would you do that? Why would you half-step with it when you could just go all in? Why would you do that? What type of sense does that make? See, I'm just referencing what's in Ezekiel 18, man. I got you, Misha, because that's the framework of what we're gonna discuss tonight. I got you, and I appreciate that question. You know what I'm talking about? Like, ask yourself the question, man. Let's hit this Galatians chapter 2. Ask yourself the question, man. And Luke 18, Ezekiel 18, man, he said, cast away from you all your transgressions so iniquity won't be your ruin. For why will you die, O house of Yasharal? I said Galatians 2, but it's Galatians 1, y'all. My bad. Galatians 1 and 11. Why would you do that? Why would you die halfway doing it when you could just do it? You know what I'm saying? You could just handle your business. That don't even make sense. Because halfway doing it, you're going to get the same condemnation without the same enjoyment. You might as well go live your life how you wanted to do if you know you're going to walk in condemnation because you halfway in and halfway out. Because you lukewarm. That don't make sense. You playing with your life. This is not a game. Let me tell you something, man. Everybody like to say this is not a religion. This is our culture, all that type of stuff. No, it ain't none of that. You know what this is, man? Let me show you what it is, man. Deuteronomy 30. This ain't a religion. This ain't a culture. This ain't nothing. You know what I'm talking about? This is what it is. Just come over here to Deuteronomy 30. I'm going to tell you what it is. This is what it is, man. Because maybe we need to stop being focused on religion and culture and focus on what this is, man. You understand me? Deuteronomy 30 and 19, because this is what this is. I call Shamahim and Aras to record against you this day. I set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both you and your seed may live. Man, this life and death, man. This ain't no culture. This ain't no religion. This ain't no nation. My nigga, this is life and death. This is what this is, man. This is life and death. This is not a game. This is not a joke. This is not something just to do to pass time. This ain't no heritage, man. This is life or death. Choose life. That's what he told you. This thing is life and death, man. And the reason why people is not growing in the Ruach and not expanding in the word is that because you don't understand that this is exactly what this is. This is life or death. Your life is in the balance. Your life is in the balance. There is a day of restitution coming. Your life is in the balance. And we taking it for a game. Boy, this ain't no game, man. Let me tell you something, man. Some of you brothers and sisters may have looked death in the eye before. You know what that experience was for you if you saw death and you believed that death was at your front door, ready to pick the lock and walk in. You know what I'm talking about? You take things more seriously when you done seen death. You take things more seriously when you done seen poverty. You know what I'm talking about? See, a lot of people, you don't take the things that you do seriously because you don't take life seriously. But you want to be taken seriously when you a joke. How you going to be taken seriously and you don't take yourself seriously? So you're not going to take Yahuwah seriously. You're living life like a joke. You don't understand your life is on the line every day this man allow you to breathe. And we out here skinning and grinning, man, playing around, man. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't got to like what I said. I don't really give a damn. You know what I'm talking about? But just know your life is on the line, man. The man book is literally called the Book of Life. It's literally called the Book of Life. And I'm not, when I said all that, I'm not trying to disparage nobody. I'm trying to get you to understand the seriousness of what we are involved with. Because, of course, this is a nation of people. Of course, your inheritance is Yahuwah, not your nationality. If you think your inheritance is your nationality, you need to be slapped upside your head with a stupid stick. Of course, you know it's a culture by definition because you have the elements of culture. But, boy, that's not what this is at its fundamental core. Moses told you in Deuteronomy 32, man, this ain't a vain thing for you. This is your life. What is your life, my G? This is your life. Your life is on the line. Your life is on the line. Some of y'all done been in the courtroom and your life was on the line. Some of y'all done been on the other side of a pistol, knowing that this man could pull this trigger and take your life. You know what I'm talking about? See, some of y'all don't know about that. That's why that stuff don't resonate to you. That's why you don't take certain things seriously, man. That's why Mary took it seriously by washing this man's feet. She knew where she came from. She knew how serious the situation and dire the situation and circumstance she was in. Joanne. No. Come here, doggy dog. Come on. Galatians 1 and 11. But I certify you, brethren, that the gospel which was preached of me is not after man. For I neither received it of man, neither was I taught, but by the revelation of Yahushua HaMashiach. Now, for those of you who know, Paul could tell you in Acts chapter 5 that Paul learned at the feet of Gamaliel. But that was in the law. But when it came to the gospel of Yahushua, he said he got that from God. That's how he's an apostle. You're not an apostle because you walked with him. So when we're going back to what we're referencing in that Revelation 2, most brews don't even know how to try somebody to be an apostle. Most brews don't even believe apostles in the earth. That's the highest office in the body. There is not an office in the body of Mashiach that outrank an apostle besides Mashiach himself. And Mashiach ain't the body. You know what I'm saying? You the body. He the head over the body. But nevertheless, for you have heard of my conduct in the times past in the Yahudim's religion, how that beyond measure I persecuted the house of Elohim and wasted it, and profited in the Yahudim's religion above many my equals in my own nation, being more exceedingly zealous of the tradition of my fathers. But when it pleased Elohim, who separated me from my mother's womb and called by his grace to reveal his son in me, that I might preach him among the heathen, immediately I conferred not with flesh and blood. That would make somebody an apostle. For those of you who don't know, the first apostle in this book was Adam. Because Adam didn't sit down with flesh and blood. Adam sat down and was taught by Yahuwah. The second apostle in this book is Moses. Moses didn't sit down with flesh and blood. Moses sat down with Yahuwah. That's who taught him. See, Aaron's not an apostle because Moses taught him. That means he sat down with flesh and blood. If you sat down with flesh and blood to get your instruction, you're not an apostle. Simple as that. You know what I'm talking about? See, that's why when you read that John 7 and they say, how can this man write letters having never learned? See, a lot of people deal with their word. They don't know that, man. If you don't confer it with flesh and blood, you're not an apostle, man. You could be an evangelist with the gospel, but you ain't no apostle. Revelation 2 and 2. I know your works and your labor and your patience and how you can't bear them which are evil. And with them which say they are apostles and are not, and have found them liars, and have tried them which say they are apostles and are not, and found them liars, which means you proved them. Let me tell y'all something, man. And there's a way to do this respectfully. Every person you come across who teach the word, boy, you're supposed to prove it. Ain't that what 1 John 4 said? If a man say he a pastor, you supposed to prove it. If a man say he an elder, you supposed to prove it. If a man say he a moray teacher, whatever he call himself, you supposed to prove it. If a man say he an apostle, an evangelist, you supposed to prove it. You ain't just supposed to sit there here, Israelite, I'm down with my people. You an idiot. That man said you better test them. We just talked about that not too long ago, whether they be a God or not. It's many false prophets going out in the world. You gonna play with your life like that? When you do that, you can say that, definitely. You know what I'm talking about? Just because he had no father and mother. So, you know, and Yahushua after the order of Melchizedek. So definitely with that, because he didn't confer with flesh and blood. Shoot, he ain't had no mom and dad. You know what I'm talking about? Nevertheless. Let me tell y'all something, man. When you just don't care who you get the word from and you don't feel the need to test them and try them, you don't love yourself. You don't love yourself. Because I'm going to tell you something. You can't prove Yahuwah out. Yahuwah prove you out. But he told you to prove the people who giving you his word to make sure they come from him. But when you don't do that, you don't love yourself. You got to love yourself, man. You got to love yourself and love your life enough to say, boy, I'm not finna let anybody just give me the words of life. And just because he say he a Hebrew, then that means he got to be a God and you just motoring around, playing with your soul like that, man. Don't you know this book say, man, he that seek unto the false prophet gonna get the same reward as the false prophet? That man ain't gonna care nothing about, you ain't know that man ain't had no word or this, that, there, and the third. That's on him. You going to hell for getting it from him. That's Ezekiel 14 for those who don't know. Read it for yourself. I'll read it for you. You know what I'm talking about? I didn't want that to be understood, man. Because guess what? When you click off this live, or you click this video off if you see it when it's over, you know what I'm talking about? Or you click off this Clubhouse app, I don't really care if you ever listen to nothing else I got to say ever again in life. But I want you to know and understand, man, you better protect your soul, bro. You better protect your soul, bro. This your soul you talking about, man. You got to love yourself, man. You got to love yourself enough to make sure that God is with the person that you listening to. You can't make allegiances by doctrine. You can't make allegiances by bloodline. Your only allegiance is supposed to be to Yahuwah. And if somebody is of Yahuwah, then of course your allegiance would be with them. But your number one allegiance is supposed to be with Yahuwah. If you ain't got no allegiance with Yahuwah, you'll listen to anybody. Sean say that's one of the hardest things to come to grips with, that everybody don't care about your soul. And that's true. And you can see it in this book. A lot of people in the nation, shoot, damn near every king in the history of Israel didn't care nothing about them people's souls. They didn't care. The scribes and the Pharisees didn't care about them people's souls. They didn't care. That man say, man, you are not seeking to enter into the kingdom of Shamahim. And that man saying, you shutting up. I'll read it. I ain't even, because I done said it wrong. Come over here to Ezekiel 14, man. 14 and 7. Make it 6. Matter of fact, just make it 4. Therefore speak unto them and say unto them, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, every man of the house of Yasharal that set up idols in his heart and put the stumbling block of his iniquity before his face and come to the prophet, I, Yahuwah, will answer him. that come according to the multitude of his idols. So that man telling you, if you got idols in your heart and you coming to somebody to get a word from them, that man say, I'm going to answer you according to what it is that you bow down and worship in your heart. See, every idol in your heart ain't a false god you're worshiping. It's whatever you got in your heart that you put before Yahuwah. It could be your mama. It could be your child. It could be your spouse. It could be money. It could be your car. It could be your job. It could be your pride. Whatever you got in your heart that you put before God, boy, that's an idol in your heart, boy, because you bow down and worship. That's why that man say covetous is idolatry. Play with it. Man, when that man tell you the straight gate in a narrow way, and if you there, they that find it, man, this way to salvation tight, man. And when you get pressed into it, everybody can't take the squeeze. That I may take the house of Yasharal, Ezekiel 14:5, in their own heart, because they are all estranged from me through their idols. I just want y'all to hear the word estranged, because it's coming up, because I got to get to the key point, what we here for today, or what I had in my mind I wanted to do. But praise be to Yahuwah. We're going to go wherever he take us at. But I didn't want you to see estranged. It's Zor. So that's the word for stranger. So when he sit back and tell you, now you become stranger to him. That's right, Brother Mark. Now you done became a stranger to him. He can't recognize you. Therefore say unto the house of Yasharal, verse 6, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, repent and turn from your idols and turn away from your faces from all your abominations. For every one of the house of Yasharal or the stranger that sojourn in Yasharal will separate himself from me and set up idols in his heart and put the stumbling block of iniquity before his face and come to the prophet to inquire of him concerning me, I, Yahuwah, will answer him by myself. And I will set my face against that man, and I will make him a sign and a proverb, and I will cut him off from the midst of my people, and you shall know that I, Yahuwah. And if the prophet be deceived when he's spoken a thing, I, Yahuwah, have deceived that prophet. And I will stretch out my hand upon him and destroy him from the midst of my people, Yasharal, and they shall bear the punishment of their iniquity. The punishment of the prophet shall be even as the punishment of him that seek unto him. Play with it. That man say the punishment of the prophet is going to be the same as the person who sought him. Man, you can't play around with your life like that, man. Because that man meant what he said what he meant, and he going to do exactly what he said he was going to do. And we just be around here like, it ain't no big deal. It ain't no big deal. That's on him if he teaching bad doctrine. I just chew the meat and spit out the bones, and you going to hell. Why would you listen to somebody where you say you got to chew out the meat and spit out the bones? I disregard the bad stuff. I keep the good stuff. You sound stupid. Everything that comes from Yahuwah is good. So that means if it's bad that you got to spit out, that means God ain't there, fool. Come on, man. We too grown to be this simple. You too grown for this, man. You ain't got enough sense to know that if you say I chew the meat and spit out the bones, you just acknowledging that you know God ain't with this man. Because with God, you wouldn't have to spit out nothing. That man said, open your mouth wide, now fill it. That man said, he that hunger and thirst after righteousness shall be filled. You ain't got to spit nothing out with him. Come on, man. We ain't making no sense. When you say I chew out the meat and spit out the bones, you saying I like the cult of personality of this person. So therefore, that's why I listen to him and I disregard the wrong stuff. You a groupie. You a fanboy. You're certainly not a godly man. Because I ain't listening to no nigga and I know he wrong. Not about my soul. You wouldn't do it in any other endeavor in life. You wouldn't do that in any other endeavor in life, but you do it with the word, though. The most important thing in your life. Junk don't make sense to me. Revelation 2 and 3, man. But you do what you want to do. Do what you want to do, man. That's y'all call. You know what I'm talking about? 2 and 3. You have borne and have patience for my name's sake, and that you have labored and have not fainted. Revelation 2 and 3. Now we're in verse 4. Nevertheless, I have against you because you left your first love. Remember, therefore, from whence you are fallen, and repent and do the first works. Also, I will come unto you quickly and remove your candlestick out of his place, except you repent. But this you have, that you hate the deeds of Nicolaitans, which I also hate. Always remember that, man. Always remember your first works and do them. Them first works of faith, man, do that. Don't be talking about no law or you found out you were Israelite. Them works of faith, like Abraham did, do that. Remember your first love. Don't never forget that, and you'll be good. See, a lot of people get in this word, man, you get complacent, you get comfortable. Let me tell you something, man. You know what the problem in this world is, man? And this is on both sides of the ledger. A lot of women don't want the burden of feminine performance. And a lot of men don't want the burden of masculine performance. And both don't want the burden of godly performance. See, what we don't really understand, man, is we get caught up in situations and circumstances dealing with people where there's no demand on for you to perform. And you got to perform. As a man, you got to perform. As a man, you got to perform. As a woman, you have a burden of performance. And as servants of Elohim, you have a burden of performance. And a lot of people don't want to meet that burden. A lot of people don't want to meet that burden. But they want the rewards of the burden that they're not willing to meet. That's why you got a lot of men who complain about the stuff that they complain about because they don't want to perform. A lot of women complain about the things that they complain about is because they don't want to perform. A lot of people who say they serve God complain that Yahuwah don't do this and Yahuwah don't do that because you don't want to perform. Everybody has a burden of performance. Let me tell you something, right? If you say you a husband, you have a burden of performance. If you say you a wife, you have a burden of performance. If you say, I want to serve the living Elohim, there is a burden of performance. And that performance is not regulated to laws per se. It's regulated to the nature, character, and authority of whom you have subjected yourself to. See, this came up because my cousin had posted that 1 Peter 2, and we could deal with that. 1 Peter 2 and 18 to be specific. But let me finish what I came here for, verse 7. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Ruach saith unto the synagogues. To him that overcome will I give to eat of the tree of life, which is in the midst of the paradise of Elohim. Let's go to Genesis 2 and 7 and look at that paradise of Elohim so we can get to what we came here for. See, everybody want everlasting life, but don't nobody want to perform. A lot of men want to be husbands and say you ought to submit to me, but you don't want to perform. A lot of women want to be wives, but you don't want to perform. If you're hearing what I'm talking about, then you understand what I'm talking about. It's a lot of people want to be Yahuwah's bride and don't want to perform. You got to perform. Genesis chapter 2, man, verse 9. And out of the ground made Yahuwah Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And the river went out of Eden to the water of the garden. We don't need all that. I didn't want y'all to hear that part. Drop down to verse 15. And Yahuwah Elohim took the man and put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And Yahuwah Elohim commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat of it. For in the day that you eat thereof, you shall surely die. Yahuwah Elohim said, not good that man should be alone. I will make a helpmeet for him. Now, I heard a lady say, see, God knows that the woman is more important because he didn't say it wasn't good for the woman to be alone. He said the man, and this is just to prop up the idiotic stupidity that sinners like to propagate in order to boost themselves up in this idiotic gender war that individuals like to participate in the internet. You know what I'm saying? Now, maybe people participate in this idiotic banter in real life, but this is pure and utter stupidity. Now, I want you to understand on a greater level what this means. So the first thing I want you to look at is the word for alone. So, of course, he told you it is not told. What is it not told? It's not pleasant. It's not good. It's not agreeable. It is not kind. It is not morally good for this man to be alone. So the aspect of what Yahuwah is saying is man is good, but it is not good that he should be alone. But when you understand the formulation of what was done in heaven before it was completed. Look at what he said in verse 26 of the first chapter of this same text. Elohim said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and upon every creeping thing that creep upon the earth. So Elohim created man in his image. In the image of Elohim created he him. Male and female created he them. He already intended to take the woman out of the man. This has already been said. No, this doesn't mean that Yahuwah has a feminine side. Yahuwah does not have a feminine side. If a man, just because the woman came out of man, doesn't mean man has a feminine side. If you get in touch with your feminine side, you need to seek God in prayer and fast, because you ain't supposed to have no feminine side. You a man. That man say, gird up your loins like a man and show yourself a man. You can't gird up your loins like a man tapping into no feminine side, boy. And if you go to talking like that, all you doing is spewing female talking points, because your father in heaven ain't told you to do that. And I would wager your daddy ain't told you to do that. Doing that is not going to get you the pennies, my G. It ain't going to get it. They're not going to like you more, bro, because you do that. They're going to look at you with contempt and disrespect. You know what I'm talking about? You want to put yourself in a position where the woman respects and admires you. If she don't respect and admire you, bro, then that's why you tapping into your feminine side. Well, she'll admire me then. Nah, you a buster. Now you one of her girlfriends. You ain't her leader. You're not her husband. You one of her homegirls. Type of man want to be his old lady homegirl. I know what type of man want to be his old lady homegirl. The type of man that like people to play in his butt. Nevertheless, alone. The word for alone is bod. Bod and dalet. Alone. By itself. Besides. Separation. Being alone. By itself. Apart. From beside. What do you sit back and look at? You look at the sacrifice of the son. Without the sacrifice of the son, we are alone. Without the sacrifice of the son, you don't have God. Now, of course, if you don't know what helpmeet is, the word is a zer. It is a help. It is a succorer. It is one who helps. That's what a woman duty is, to be one who helps. See, I got a twofold thing to tie into this here, man. I almost forgot about the other half. It's a twofold thing, man. So what does this mean? Let me show you something. Isaiah 59. 59 and 1. Listen to it. Well, I get this other half of this here, man, or I'm going to leave my thoughts incomplete. And I don't want to leave my thoughts incomplete. My bad, y'all. I don't want to leave my thoughts incomplete. Isaiah 59 and 1. Behold, Yahuwah's hand is not shortened that it cannot save. Neither is his ear heavy that it cannot hear, but your iniquities are separated between you and your Elohim, and your sins have hid his face from you that he will not hear. So the aspect of what we're looking at is separation from God, because it's not good for man to be alone. Let's take a look at John 14 and 15. I'm gonna have to go to the app. Hey, somebody get her. I'm not going to try to talk over her. John 14 and 15. If you love me, keep my commandments. And I will pray Abba, and he shall give you another comforter, that he may abide with you forever. The Ruach of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it see him not, neither know him, but you know him. For he will dwell with you and shall be in you. I will not leave you comfortless. I will come to you. What does this mean? What is being said to us at this particular time? Well, let's look and see. When you're dealing with the Greek word for comforter and comfortless, because that's what we want to focus on. When you're dealing with comfortless, the word is orphanos, or the word for orphan. It literally means one who's bereft of a teacher, a guide, or a guardian, or don't have a father or a parent. So he's sitting back telling us that he will not leave us without a teacher, that he will not leave us without a guide. Because when at the end of the day, when you don't have a Ruach, you don't have a father. Whoa, that's dangerous. Understand that. That's what a lot of people don't understand. That's why by all means, by every bit in your power, by the grace of Elohim, let his mercy be upon all those who are here this evening and who may watch this later, that he grant the gift of his Ruach HaKodesh unto you. Because without it, you are a bastard. You don't have a father and you don't have an instructor. That is not the place that you want to be. You can let everybody around here skin and grin and play with you if you want to. Man, this man said, if you comfortless, you are an orphan. Remember when we were talking about how this man don't take care of seeds that's not his? You got to be born of the word, man. Without the Ruach, you comfortless. That means you alone. Because an orphan is alone. And it's not good for man to be alone. So he gave you a helpmeet. So now we turn back over here. We want to look at comforter. And dang, I didn't have that jump. Hold on. Somebody get her, gonna whoop your Abba butt. Oh, hard-headed baby. When you look at comforter, it is paraklos, one who is summoned to call to one side, called to one's aid, one who pleads another cause before a judge, one who pleads with another cause with one, an intercessor, but in the widest sense, a helper, a succorer, an aider, an assistant. Now, why is this important? What does Eve's name mean according to the text? What does Eve's name mean? Who can tell me what Eve's name means? Well, we ain't got a lot of time. Eve's name, hold on, somebody just answered. That's right, Drew and Hashem just hit it. The mother of all living. What does the Ruach HaKodesh do? It gives life. A lot of people like to look at the Ruach and say it's feminine because they get caught up because the word Ruach is feminine. And that's just your own delusional mind that think that because these words are feminine or masculine nouns, that somehow denotes some type of characteristic in heaven. You know what I'm talking about? That's your stuff. Got nothing to do with Yahuwah. You came up with that. He didn't tell you that. You know what I'm talking about? You got to stop doing that. That's where that Shekinah stuff come from and all that else. That's how you get caught up in folly. Because you're interjecting and interloping your own thoughts and minds and opinions into something that man ain't told you. I hate to be the bearer of bad news if you thought differently. Yahuwah ain't got no feminine in him. None. He ain't got no feminine in him. He ain't no mother God. He ain't got none of that in him. He Yahuwah. Point blank, period. He that exists and exists everlasting, period, point blank. Ain't nothing else in him. Ain't no feminine in him. What's wrong with you? If he got feminine in him, that means he's submissive and he yields. I don't think people really realize that, man. And that's no disrespect to women. Women are receivers. You can see that a woman has to be submissive in order to have sex. She has to yield to allow a man to dominate her physically. That's why rape is held as murder in the book. That's why if you rape a woman, you're a murderer and you get put to death like one. But we around here thinking Yahuwah is submissive and yield. Who he yielding to? Who is he yielding to other than his father? Who is Yahuwah yielding to? No one. No one. See, when he came in the flesh, he could be able to relate to a woman with the process of giving birth and yielding and being submissive because he yielded to the will of his father. But in Shamahim, that's not the case, man. The father nor the son, they ain't got no penis and vagina between their legs, man. They use the aspect of male and female as forth to describe characteristics, man. That's why when you see Yahuwah described, he is described as a man because he's dominant. The man is man. When you see when he made Adam, he made him to have dominion, to dominate. Because the Garden of Eden was symbolic of the Malkuth for Elohim, and Elohim was to dominate because Adam was the son of Elohim, and he had dominion and rule over that entire area. Eve didn't dominate. What did she dominate? Let me tell y'all something, man. Real life, man. This is no disrespect. You put 100 men in one place, and you put 100 women, and tell them to go dominate and take dominion over the earth. Who you think gonna be successful in that endeavor? With no assistance from the other. The 100 men have to assist each other, and the 100 women have to assist each other. Who do you think gonna come out and dominate their environment when it's all said and done? Women are not hardwired to be dominant over terrain and to rule in such a fashion. That doesn't make her lesser. It doesn't make her anything than what Yahuwah made her for. See, that's our problem. We want to be other than what he made us for, but want to try to fit into his box at the same time. It don't work like that. You either going to be a god or you going to be a nigga, but you can't be both. You can't be both. You cannot be both. The choice is yours. It don't make me no never mind. You know what I'm saying? See, in this particular generation, women don't want to be women because they look at the women of the past and they think they stupid. But see, this is the thing. You looking at women who were sinners just like you. Most of y'all ain't never seen no godly woman. I hate to tell you, your mama probably wasn't one. Your grandma wasn't probably one. Your great-grandma probably wasn't one. Because seeing a godly woman is different than seeing a woman. You know what I'm talking about? It's different. They ain't never seen one. They don't want to be one. Hell, these men don't want to be godly. So what you think you're going to get? You're dealing with a group of people who want to be godly on their own terms and wonder why they're having failures. It's forfeit serving you who is concerned. You got women talking about partners and R and R and R. Look here, man. When you come into Yahuwah, it's not our kingdom. That's his kingdom. If you come into a man ain't no ours, that's his. And you help him build what's his. If you want an R, you got to get the devil, because the devil will let you share in his kingdom. The devil will let you share in his kingdom because you're going to share in his punishment. Who ain't going to let you share in his kingdom? That man told you, I will not give my esteem to another. You smoking crack if you think that man doing that. And as a man, you supposed to build yourself where this woman come in and understand, this all me, baby. I've been told y'all that, man. Most women want a man who she got to help get to that point because then she can say she was instrumental in his success. She can't do nothing with a man who didn't need her to be successful. See, don't get it twisted, right? If you with a man and he got something going on and he taking care of you, you supposed to help. The hell you there for then? How you gonna be with God and say I ain't gonna do nothing to help further his kingdom? Further his house. I ain't gonna do nothing about that. I'm not doing that. Because if I wasn't here, he'd have to do it anyway. Get the hell out of here. So what the hell you here for? Don't even make sense. That's what I mean by we don't want to meet the burden of performance, but we want the spoils. No, sir, no, ma'am. That's not how this game go. You high on drugs. You know what I'm talking about? That's not how this game go, man. We got the game twisted. And we think Yahuwah is supposed to condone that. So when you look at the Ruach is an aid and a helper. That's his job. So that you will not be bereft, so that you will not be alone. So when you sit back and you look at it's not good for man to be alone, that's what it's about. But now I need to add another part into the play. I'm going to go over my time. Don't worry about it because we was on time anyway. Come over here to 2 Samuel chapter 12. Come over here to 2 Samuel because now we need to add the other part to this matter. When you're dealing with a dominion, you got to be a king. Ain't that what you got to be? Well, let's look at 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 26. Let's do that. Let's look at 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 26. I praise you. Now, I want you to see how we're going to take this woman, and what we're finna look at, and we're finna take them and put them together in a way that you might not anticipate that we're going to take and put it together. 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 26. Joab fought against Rabbah of the sons of Ammon and took the royal city. Joab sent messengers to David and said, I fought against Rabbah and have taken the city of waters. Now, therefore, gather the rest of the people together and encamp against the city and take it, lest I take the city and it be called after my name. David gathered all the people together and went to Rabbah and fought against it and took it. And he took their king's crown from off his head, the weight thereof a talent of gold with the precious stones. And it was on David's head. And he brought forth the spoil of the city in great abundance. He brought forth the people that therein and put under saws and under harrows of iron and under axes of iron and made them pass through brickland. And thus did he did all the cities of the sons of Ammon. So David and all the people returned unto Jerusalem. So now we're looking at that particular matter there. Let's look at this word for crown. Let's look at this word for crown. Adarah, Ayin, Tet, Rosh, and Hay. This is a crown. This is a wreath. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, a crown. So with Tet, you have been filled and experienced the son of the chief. You have been filled and experienced or seen the son of the chief. Son because of the man with raised arms, chief because of the Rosh. Now, we could be a bit redundant here. Let's look at 1 Chronicles 20 just on the house. It's being redundant. It's okay. $20 and 1, if you would. 20 and 1, if you would. And it came to pass that after the year was expired, at the same time the kings go out, Joab led forth the power of the army and wasted the country of the sons of Ammon and came and besieged Rabbah. David tarried at Jerusalem. Joab smote Rabbah and destroyed. And David took the crown from off their king from off his head and found it to a weight, a talent of gold, precious stones in it. It was set upon David's head, and he brought forth exceeding much spoil out of the city. He brought out the people that were in it and cut them with saws, with harrows of iron, with axes. Even so, David dealt with the sons of Ammon, and David and all the people returned to Jerusalem. When you look at this in the aspect of the testimony of Yahushua, you can pay attention to that to see that this is an instance of as when he come, like we read in Revelation 11, that the kingdoms of the nations have become the kingdoms of our Lord and his anointed one, and how that he will fight the nations with a sword of his mouth and hew them into pieces. And hew them into pieces. We don't need the rest of that. Let's take a look at something else. Let's take a look at the book of Esther. Let's look at chapter 6 and then chapter 8. I guess, you know what I'm saying? You know, we don't tarry in the book of Esther too often, and definitely don't like to be like, well, it's Purim, so I guess we got to read the book of Esther. That'd be lame to me. I don't really like to do that, except when you're dealing with it and giving that information to people who aren't accustomed to it. You know what I'm saying? Once you've been around here for a while, it just don't make no sense to do that. Let's take a look at 6 and 4. Esther, 6 and 4. And the king said, who is this court? Now Haman was coming to the outward court of the king's house to speak unto the king to hang Mordecai on the gallows that he prepared for him. The king's servant said unto him, behold, Haman stand in the court. And the king said, let him come in. So Haman came in. The king said unto him, what shall be done unto the man who the king delight to honor? How Haman thought in his heart, to whom would the king delight to honor more than to myself? Haman answered the king, for the man whom the king delight to honor, let royal apparel be brought, which the king to wear, and the horse that the king ride upon, and the crown royal is set upon his head. And let his apparel and horse be delivered into the hand of one of the king's most noble princes, that they may array the man whom the king delight to honor, bring him on horseback through the street of the city, proclaim before him, thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delight to honor. Then the king said to Haman, make haste and take the apparel and the horse, if you said, and do even so to Mordecai the Yahudim that sit at the king's gate, and let nothing fail of that which you have spoken. Now, of course, if that sounds familiar to you, it should sound familiar that when you see Hosanna, son of the highest, when he came in lowly, riding on the ass, on the coat foal of an ass. You know what I'm talking about? As he came in as a triumphant king, because that is the scriptural reference. But I just want you to see that how they slid through and put the crown on Mordecai's head. Where it was proclaimed. Chapter 8, verse 15. Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel of blue and white, and with a great crown of gold, and with a garment of fine linen and purple. The city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad. Now, you see Mordecai coming through with a crown, and of course, he gets ready to smash through the enemies of Yasharal, more specifically Haman and his household and everybody who was down with Haman and what he had going on. I just want you to sit back and look at a crown. I want you to focus on the crown because the crown is of great importance. I want you to come back to that Job 31 and 36 that we discussed the other day. I want you to look at verse 33 of Job 31. I want you to look at verse 33 of Job 31. We're going to start right there, and we're going to work our way around. We're going to work our way around. Just bear with me. We're going through a lot of different things to make sure that this come through, and it come through clean with a good, strong understanding. You understand? And a couple things we already hit last week, so it allows us to come back and double back. Job 31 and 33, if I have covered my transgressions as Adam by hiding my iniquity in my bosom, did I fear a great multitude, or did the contempt of families terrify me that I kept silence and went not out the door? Oh, that one would hear me. Behold, my desire, the Almighty would answer me, and my adversary had written a book. Surely I would take it upon my shoulder and bind it as a crown to me. Notice that he said, right, that if his adversary had written a book, we talked about him taking it upon his shoulder, but not only that, he would bind it as a crown. What do you think that means when he said he would take it and bind it as a crown? While you think about that, let's turn around and go to Matthew 27. While you thinking about that, come over here to Matthew 27. Where's that? I'm in chapter 26. That's why what I'm looking for has not shown itself. 27. Look at Matthew chapter 27. Then the soldiers of the governor took Yahusha into the common hall and gathered unto him the whole band. And they stripped him and put on him a scarlet robe. And when they platted a crown of thorns, they put upon his head and a reed in his right hand. And they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, Hail, Malik of the Yahudim. Now, let me tell you something, right? Let me get this all out because I ain't going to be able to precept all this out before we get out of here. In 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 18, right? Because that meme popped up in my blood cousin, my literal cousin. You know what I'm talking about? With the first person who's seen this here. Then another group dudes dropped that in there, man. And we had to give him some information. You know what I'm talking about? And that 1 Peter 2 and 18, it says, servants, subject to masters with all fear, not only the good and gentle, but also to the froward. For this thankworthy if a man for conscience towards Elohim endure grief, suffering wrongfully. So a lot of people read the translation, slaves, obey your masters. And they think this is pertaining to slaves in the sense of chattel slavery here in the Americas. But that word servant is somebody who dwells in somebody's house. You know what I'm talking about? And master, it means Lord or master of the house. So when you see that 1 Peter 2 and 18, if you know your law well enough, your mind should automatically go to Genesis 39. Let me read you Genesis 39 and 1, let you see what it says. Joseph was brought down to Mizraim, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him into the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down hither. Yahuwah was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. And his master saw that Yahuwah with him, and that Yahuwah made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And Joseph found grace in his sight and served him, and he made him an overseer over his house. And all that he had, he put it into his hand. And it came to pass in that time, he made him an overseer in his house over all that he had. Yahuwah Baruch the Mishraim's house for Joseph's sake, and the Baruch of Yahuwah was upon all that he had in his house and in the field. See, Joseph obeyed his master. He was subject to him because he was serving in this man's house. See, this is what I be meaning when people be talking about stuff, don't even know the law. Because if they read 1 Peter 2 and 18, they would have already been known. Well, that's what Joseph did. But why is this important in what we're discussing? Because Joseph was subject to his master in his house. And because he was subject to his master in his house, he would not commit adultery with his master's wife. Because he would not sin against Elohim, because he was subject to his master, he was incarcerated wrongfully. In the midst of being incarcerated wrongfully, of course, we know, praise be to Elohim in the name of Yahushua for it, that the time period that he was in the prison is akin to when Yahushua was in the grave preaching to the spirits in prison. He who did no sin became sin because he was subject to sin, and he made his grave with the wicked. That's what Joseph did. You understand what I'm telling you? So when we see that, and then we see Joseph coming up out of the prison, because of the word that Yahuwah had gave him. And we see Pharaoh doing this very thing right here in verse 37 of Genesis 41. And the thing was good in the sight of eyes of Pharaoh and the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find as this a man whom the Ruach of Elohim? Pharaoh said to Joseph, for as much as Elohim have showed you all this, none so discreet and wise as you, you shall be over my house. And according unto your word shall all my people be ruled. Only in throne will I be greater than you. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I set you over all the land of Mizraim. Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand and put it on Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain upon his neck, and made him to ride in the second chariot which he had. And they cried before him, bow the knee. And he made him over all the land of Mizraim. Then why I don't understand how people don't understand that Yahuwah is Yahusha, and that's why you got to bow the knee, you wicked bastard Jew. That's why he set him in second chariot. He said, only in throne and power am I greater than you. Well, only in throne, and that's why Yahusha said, my father is greater than I, because that's what your law told you. See, these old super duper scholars is damn stupid. You know what I'm talking about? Because you're supposed to know this. He gave him all the power, rule, and authority to rule the land as Pharaoh. So if he gave him all the rule and authority to rule as Pharaoh, guess what that makes Joseph? Pharaoh. I don't even see how people can't see that Yahushua God. I really don't see how they don't see that. It's very clear when you know the law and when you understand the witness of Yahushua. It's very clear to see. I'm mentioning that because he had rule, power, and authority, which means he had a crown on his head. And we're dealing with what the crown represents in a moment, if you just bear with me for a moment. See, I went through that so you could see when he said, if you could take this as a book, I would wear it as a crown. Because Yahushua was crowned the Malach of Yasharal with the symbolic of that crown of thorns put on his head because he fulfilled the text, like it said in Luke 24. It behooved Mashiach to suffer and to rise again from the third day. And he opened their understanding that they might understand the scriptures. I've told y'all this for years, and I stand on that. This book is not about Israel. It's not. This book is about Yahuwah. This book is about Yahushua. That's why you hear me say you hear me say Yahuwah, I'm talking about Yahushua. You hear me say Yahushua, I'm talking about Yahuwah. That's right, he definitely did. This book is about Yahuwah. This book ain't about you. Why would this man write a book about a people who were sinners and idolaters, disobedient, rebellious, and a covenant breaker? Who would write a book about that? How does that bring esteem to him by writing a book about a group of people who can't know their left hand from their right, who can't get their nose out their butthole? Why would he write a book about you? This book is about him, to bring esteem, praise, and honor to him, that men might set their faith and hope in him. The book is about Yahuwah. Ain't got nothing to do with you. Step down off your pedestal, get the pride out your brain, and give acknowledge to your maker. Not only that, don't rend your garments, rend your heart. That's what he told you in Joel. He said, rend your heart, not your garments. Bow the knee of your heart, man, and acknowledge that you need a redeemer and a savior, and repent and save your soul and stop playing games. Trust in the word of the living Elohim and save yourself. Stop being a dummy. Stop going along to get along. Stop trying to want to be down. Stop seeking the esteem of men more than the esteem of Elohim. And seek the honor that comes from Elohim only and deliver yourself from death. Who gives a damn if we build up anything and we go to hell? What was it worth? You trying to get next to Yahuwah or you trying to ball? Which one is it? Because see, you can get next to Yahuwah and ball. I've been told you, man, I'm a stranger and a pilgrim on the earth. I don't care what these people got going on. I've been telling you this for a long time. This ain't come in my mind yesterday. Check the tape. We got plenty. I've been telling you for a long time. I don't want nothing these people got. I don't want to dwell in none of these people's lands. I don't want nothing they got to offer. I don't care who they are. I don't care what they look like. If Yahuwah is not the head and he is not there, I do not care. I've lived my entire life under the stewardship of sinners. I'm not finna willfully go seek to be under most sinners. I don't want to be under the authority in flesh and blood. I want to be under the authority of the living Elohim. Now, while I'm in this flesh, living this life, I will subject myself to flesh and blood as he has instructed me to, so that his name and his word don't be blasphemed. That is what I will do, because that's what he told me to do. Oh, but my heart desire is to only be subject to him. He told you that in Isaiah 26. We called other, let me read it to you, man. Let me read it to you, man. See, if I'm telling you something, I'm going to tell you what the book say, man. That's where my point of reference comes from. My perspective and point of reference comes from the word, not from some personal thoughts and opinions and perspectives. My personal thought and opinions and perspectives are grossly irrelevant and non-existent as it pertains to the matters of Elohim. What do they even mean? Isaiah 26 and 12. I ain't forgot about you, Nisha. I'm just working to it. It's a slow cook. You ain't lie. Hashem say, been slaves so often and so long, these people don't know how an exalted righteous servant is. We want to lord over people like the nations and scoff at the position of servitude. He ain't told no story. He ain't told no story. Isaiah 26 and 12. Yahuwah will ordain shalom for us, for you have also wrought all our works in us. Yahuwah Elohim, lords besides you have had dominion over us. By you only will we make mention of your name. Look at me. We already know there's other people who done had dominion over us. This is the thing. These people only got dominion over you because you like to sin. Because you didn't have, remember what he said. If you do well, shall you not be accepted? If not, sin lie at the door, and it will rule over you. Since you like sin, you got to get ruled over by sin, which means you got to be ruled over by sinners. That's how that go, my G. That's how that go. You can't turn around and say you reap what you sow. Then when you reap what you sow, now it's an issue. Let's continue talking about these crowns, man. Let's continue talking about these crowns, man. Psalms 21. I'm working towards something. I promise I am. Psalm 21 and 1. The king shall joy in your strength, O Yahuwah, and in your salvation. How greatly shall he rejoice? You have given him his heart's desire, and have not withholden the request of his lips. Selah. For you prevent him with the blessings of goodness. You set a crown of pure gold on it. Let's take a look. Clearly, it makes you happy. When you look at prevent him, that is kadam, that is to meet. That is to confront. That is to receive. So he received him with the blessings of goodness. Baraka, of course, and Tov. Of course, you know, Adorah is the word for crown. So the king gets to receive these blessings of goodness so that he can be crowned. We all see, let me tell you something. Hold on, pause. 2 Timothy chapter 3. 2 Timothy 3. 2 Timothy 4, my bad. 2 Timothy 4. 4 and 6. Get straight on to the point. Listen to it. For I'm now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. I fought a good fight. I've finished course. I've kept the faith. Henceforth is laid up for me a crown of righteousness with the Lord. The righteous judge shall give me at that day. And not to me only, but to all them that love his appearance. Now, some of y'all remember, because you was around for it, when we dealt with the thing with Nebuchadnezzar about let no man take your crown. There is a crown laid up in Shamahim for you, gentlemen. There is a crown laid up for you. Don't let nobody take your crown. Don't let the devil take your crown. See, the devil can't physically take your crown. He has to tempt you with what it is that you lust after for you to give up your own crown. See, don't be like Esau and abdicate your birthright. Don't abdicate your birthright for the lust of your belly. Because at the end of the day, if you lose your crown, you're losing it because you went after your appetites. If you a man or a man of appetite, put a knife to your throat. That's what the book say. Mortify it, kill it, put it to death. See, we like to overcomplicate the word because we don't want to do what it actually says, which is sacrificially discipline ourselves by our faithful commitment to righteous obedience of his word, to everlasting salvation, to receiving the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh. See, you can only receive the Ruach HaKodesh through faith. And you can only receive it through faith if you heard the word. And you can only hear the word except somebody preach it to you. And once they preach it to you and you heard it and you believed it and you call on him, then by God, you will receive it. Because he will not withhold any good thing from those who trust in him. Don't let nobody tell you no other thing than that. See, once you have received the Ruach HaKodesh, because the word is in your heart, because the seed has been planted, and then the fourth, you have taken that seed and you tilled that ground and you watered that ground, then it will produce the fruit of the Ruach. See, you can't produce the fruit of the Ruach without the seed. And the seed you got to hear the word, understand it, and do it. That's what the man told you. You got to take root downward to bear fruit upward. You got to lock in. See, Misha asked, how do you know if somebody got the Ruach? Faith, peace, joy, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, meekness, self-control. That is going to be evident. Then, of course, what we discussed not too long ago in 1 Corinthians 13 about love, that will be evident. See, it's not hard to tell who got the Ruach. You can always tell who got the Ruach if you know what you're looking at. See, when we be like, you don't know who got the spirit or not, then it's just a person who don't know what they're looking at. See, the spirit don't jump on you like people tell you, oh, you caught the Ruach or the Ruach fell on you. Man, once the Ruach fall on you, bro, it's on you. This ain't the old covenant, bro, when the Ruach fell on people and fell off. This is a continual indwelling. Once you filled with it, you filled with it. Also, another evidence of that is they don't sin. He that is born of Elohim do not commit sin. He cannot sin. He's born of Elohim. His seed remain in him. He that commits sin is of the devil. And we know that the son of Elohim was manifested that he might destroy the works of the devil. Let Abba and Shamahim be esteemed. That he had such goodness of mercy and love that he would send the son of Elohim to destroy the works of the devil, that we might be able to take on his nature and his name and be called by it. Because that was the other essence what I would tell you later night. When you read Genesis 5:1, he said, in the day that they were created, male and female created he them, and he called their name Adam. That's why Yahushua was called the son of Adam, because the whole family of earth is named after Adam. Everybody is called by Adam's name, who is on this earth. I don't care if you a Gentile. I don't care if you a Hamite. I don't care what you is. Every single solitary person under Shamahim is called by the name of Adam. If they call you man, if they call you woman, you call after Adam. Simple as that. Take it how you want to take it. So when you read Ephesians and it tell you that the whole family in Shamahim and earth is named after Mashiach, then what? And then you see Paul writing to Timothy saying, he said the foundation of Elohim stands sure, and he that named the name of Hamashiach, let him depart from iniquity. See, when you name the name of the anointed one, then guess what you got to turn around and do? You got to come under his nature, character, and authority. And if you coming under his authority, then you don't put sin away. And you manifest the goodness, the long suffering, the abundance of goodness and truth, and gracious and merciful. You're going to show that. That's going to be seen. That's going to be evident. Not something you do in situations that suit you, but that's how you are every single solitary day. For I am Yahuwah. I change not. Yahushua HaMashiach, the same yesterday, today, and forever. It don't switch. It don't change. Hamashiach was being persecuted and crucified on a tree. And he said, Abba, forgive him. They know not what they do, because he was long-suffering and full of mercy and grace, even in the instance where this man was being put to death wrongfully. But he still showed forth the Ruach of Elohim, even in the midst of being persecuted wrongfully by people less righteous than him. And you around here want to fight back and clap back and run your mouth because a nigga said, son, you ain't like. because you disagree with a doctor. Sit your goofy behind down somewhere and commit yourself to God and learn some word first before you open your mouth. Shalom, my G. You know what I'm talking about? This is the type of games we playing, man. This man got put to death wrongfully and still was merciful and long suffering. And you niggas can't be merciful in nothing. Because you're proud. Because you think you're something you're not. Nigga ain't got no stripes in heaven and you think you somebody, man. How you ain't got no stripes in heaven and you got a nerve to poke your chest out and lift up your chin? Well, you better be like that doggone publican. Not even lift up your eyes to Shamahim and smote upon your breast and say, Elohim, be merciful to me, a sinner. Because, boy, you ain't even been born again to be around here poking your chest out. How you poking your chest out and you ain't got no ruach? Praise Yahuwah, Brother Marcus. I feel you. How you poking your chest out, you ain't got the Spirit of God in you? Boy, you bereft of a father. You an orphan, nigga. You alone. You alone. That ain't no way to be. That ain't no way to be. You know what I'm talking about? Just consider, man. We got a few more. I know I'm going over time. It's all good, though, because I want this point to be made, and I want it to be strong and made. Let me see if Psalms 89 going to work for me. What that is? Smell like you making burgers in here. I praise you, bro. Praise you. Psalms 89. Psalms 89. Do we want to let it shine? Yeah, I'm going to do it. Psalms 89 and 33. I'm going to do it. Psalms 89 and 33. Nevertheless, my loving kindness would I not utterly take from him. We'll make it 32. Then will I. Well, this is talking about what he said to David about what he would do with Samson. He said, this is verse 31. If they break, or verse 30, if his children forsake my law and walk not in my judgments, if they break my statutes and keep not my commandments, then I will visit their transgressions with the rod and their iniquity with stripes, which is what he did to Yahushua, because Solomon never went through that. I said Samson. This is what he would write about Solomon. Solomon never got visited with any rod and any stripes. Solomon went to his grave in peace with no physical chastisement of any sort. Nevertheless, my loving kindness would I not utterly take from him, nor suffer my faithfulness to fail. Because a lot of people say, well, what's going to happen to Solomon? The man just told you. Solomon got mercy. It don't matter if people are like, well, he worshiped other gods and he did this. And Yahuwah had already said before Solomon even built the temple that if Solomon went sideways, his mercy would be with him and he wouldn't take it away from him like he took it from Saul. So sit down and shut your mouth. You going to talk against Yahuwah because you feel like something ought to happen to Solomon because you really a wicked bastard and you feel like, well, I've been sinning, so he should get what I get. Nah, you going to hell. Solomon going to be with God. Shut your mouth, nigga. I hate you niggas. You know what I'm saying? Because you niggas talk too damn much. Running your mouth about men who are 100 times more righteous than you. You know what I'm talking about? You sit around here playing with yourself with a finger in your butt and you want to talk about this man. You tell lies every day. You got idols all in your heart. You lust after every man wife you see. And you want to try to put your mouth on this man. Paul, get your goofy behind on somewhere. Verse 34, Psalms 89. My covenant will I not break, nor alter the thing that has gone out of my lips. Once I sworn by my Kadash that I will not lie unto David. His seed shall endure forever, and his throne as the sun before me. It shall be established forever as the moon, as a faithful witness in Shamahim. But you have cast off and abhorred. You have been wroth with your anointed. You have made void the covenant of your servant. You have profaned his crown to the ground. Don't you realize that when Yahushua sat back and them people did that to him, man, that he made void that covenant and profaned his crown because he threw it to the ground? Remember, man, truth lied in the street. That was on Isaiah 59, tell you. And his body was lying in the street. Uh-oh. And his crown was cast down to the ground. Job 19 tell you something similar. If you didn't know, let me just go ahead and give you void real quick. When you look at void, it's nahar. It's to abhor. It is to spurn. It is to reject. That man rejected the covenant he made with your forefathers in the wilderness because they rejected it. So he rejected it also. That's why he came down here in the flesh and was put to death. And then he was polluted and desecrated. And fourth is being profane. They had to make this man crown desecrated by casting him to the ground. But you don't even realize what that means when they say that his crown was desecrated and cast it to the ground. But y'all willing in a minute, you're going to know, because we're going to share it and we're going to get out of here. Right here in Job 19:9, for those who want to know, he stripped me of my esteem and taken the crown from my head. That's why he say, Abba, give me the esteem which I had with you before the world was. Can I get the esteem that I had with you before the world was? Let's look at Psalms 132, man. Let me see if I want to use it. Psalms 132, verse 11. Psalms 132, verse 11. I think we're good, man. We finna get ready to call this one here a wrap. We finna get ready to call this one here a wrap. Mo. It's another one here, though. It's another thing on here, too, man. Give me a second. I had another word set up. You know what I'm talking about? Psalms 132:11. You who have sworn truth unto David, he will not turn from it. Of the fruit of your body will I set up your throne. If your sons will keep my covenant and my testimony that I shall teach them, their sons shall also sit upon your throne forevermore. For you who have chosen Zion, he is desired for his habitation. This, my rest forever, here will I dwell, for I have desired it. That's what people don't understand. That man desired to dwell in Zion, boy. Not where you want him to dwell. I will abundantly bless her provision. I will satisfy her poor with bread. I will also clothe her priests with salvation, and her saints shall shout aloud for joy. Therefore will I make the horn of David to bud. I have ordained a lamp for my anointed. His enemies will I clothe with shame, but upon himself shall his crown flourish. So again, we talking about crown. You know that it's Adderall. Again, Ayin, Tet, Rosh, and Hay. You have been filled and experienced the Son of the Highest. Just keep that in mind with that crown. I will tell you a crown laid up for you because you've experienced the Son of the Highest. You've been filled with the Ruach. You understand? It's very vital. Songs of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 11. That same passage that we were talking about the other day. As forth as that sword is concerned. We was in chapter 3 the other day. We was in verse 8. I'll read you verse 7. We'll start there. Behold, this bed with Solomon 80 valiant men about it of the valiant of Yasharal. They all hold swords, expert in war. Every man his sword upon his thigh because of the fear of the night. A lot of these boys out here ain't experts in war, man. Stop picking up that sword. You ain't proved it yet. Had a mind of David, man. Put that sword down till you prove it, man. You're a novice with that work, man. You know what I'm talking about? See, I give thanks to Elohim in the name of Yahushua, boy. So I know I'm nice with my sword work. Took a while to get that over. You know what I'm talking about? You had to put in a lot of time to prove that out. That's what he mean when he say study to show yourself approved, that you a workman under Elohim. See, David said, I ain't studied myself. I ain't approved of Elohim to put on this armor and swing the sword. A lot of these boys around here swinging that sword, boy. You got to understand, boy, the weapons of our warfare ain't carnal. And we don't fight against flesh and blood, man, because that's the sword of the Ruach. That's what he said the word is. You got to be an expert with that thing, boy. You got to be taught in war, boy. How you going to go fight a war for souls and you ain't even been taught how to fight? You ain't no different than them niggas out there in the hood. Them niggas don't know how to shoot no gun. That's why people be getting hit by stray bullets, because them niggas don't know how to shoot. Let me tell you something, man. It's some niggas in the hood know how to shoot. Niggas who know how to shoot, they hit their target. No strays. Skill, indeed. No strays. No strays. I seen a brother made a reel, and you know, we done talked about this before. He went a little too far talking about most street dudes as possibly homosexual and this, that, there, and the third. But he was just talking about the things that you think because a dude in the street is masculinity is really an overabundance of femininity, because a lot of them are highly emotional because they haven't been around men and they ain't been dealing with men. You know what I'm saying? Damn. Monte say his cousin just got hit by a stray the other day. Shoot, boy, I ain't gonna tell you no lie. Boy, I woke up last night, boy, somebody let about 5, 6 of them go. You know what I'm talking about? I say, well, I don't know if a nigga was shooting at the backyard or shooting at somebody, but the police damn sure didn't come. No, I know it ain't the first time a nigga done shot, but I definitely, sometimes I don't wake up. I woke up on that one now. Because you don't never know if it's straight, like, look at, man, there been people been laying in the bed in the house, boy, done caught a stray from a nigga just shooting, man. Because, boy, my first instinct was to get on the floor. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't know how to shoot, man. See, I'm going to tell you something, especially you ladies, man. You know, Misha might know because she's from Chicago, so you should already know. A lot of niggas y'all think is gangsters and killers and super tough. Niggas send them niggas to the store to get blunts and cigarettes. Them niggas is hoes to the real killers. You know what I'm saying? See, they get around y'all chicks and they go to acting like they super tough, but nobody on the street look at them like that. You ain't got that type of reputation. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, the niggas who out here who really killers and doing all that, they don't really talk about it like that, and they don't really flaunt it like that, and they definitely don't do that to impress no chicks. You know what I'm talking about? A lot of chicks just think she riding with a gangster because a nigga got a gun. You know what I'm talking about? Girl, he be out there, girl, he a street nigga, he got a pistol. This nigga a whole goofy. This nigga get beat up every day. Niggas mush this nigga and tell that nigga, go get my cigarettes. Matter of fact, don't get me a pack of cigarettes, nigga, go get me a loose. Songs of Solomon 3 and 9. King Solomon made himself a chariot of wood of Lebanon. He made the pillars thereof silver, the bottom thereof gold, the covering of it purple, the midst thereof being paved with love. Notice what he said about this chariot now. We ain't even talked about this the other day. Notice what he said about this chariot. I can't just speed by that and get up out of here without even looking at that. Notice that he said he made a chariot of wood. What is a chariot? It is the word is aperion, aleph, pei, rosh, yod, u, and nun. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's a chariot, a sedan, a litter, a palanquin. And then he said that it was made with silver, the bottom gold, the covering of it purple, but the midst was paved with love. When you look at paved, that is rasat, that is to be fitted out, the design. It is paved. It is rosh, it is sod, and it is pay. So what is that? The words of the highest will lead you to the way. Remember, I always tell you to judge who was in the midst. You know, tabak is the word for in the midst. In the midst of this chariot is love. You don't even really understand when this man coming in on these chariots with 10,000 thousands of his saints, that in the midst of it is love. The love that he manifested and showed when he told you, he said, I know the blasphemy of them that say they are Yahudim and are not. And he said, and I will cause them. Matter of fact, let's just go and let the Lord tell it to you. Revelation 3 and 9. Oh, you brought that for me? Thank you. That's for me? That's for me? Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Revelation 3 and 9. You gave me some more? Huh? Oh. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Hashatan, which say they are Yahudim and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them come to worship before your feet to know that I have loved you. Just know when this man come through on that doggone chariot, man, that paid in the midst with love, man, for all them brews that persecuted you, for all them brews who killed you, man, that man gonna make them people bow down on their knees, boy, so you can know that he loved you, boy. That's in Isaiah 65 also, man. That ain't talking about no Gentiles, boy. That ain't talking about no Khazars, boy. Why would he be talking about some Khazars and Gentiles, man, when he just told you that you had to prove out those who say they are apostles and do lie? These brews he talking about, man. Who else he gonna come? Oh, y'all don't think he gonna make some Hebrews come bow the knee to you so you know that he loves you. Because you don't believe that it's gonna be some brews who gonna persecute you. That's the problem. He said, man, they gonna put you out of their synagogues and kill you and think they do Elohim service. One of the biggest mistakes that a lot of brews make in 2023 in these modern day time is you don't think that most of us are going to die by the hands of people who look just like you. Don't Psalm 55 say we took sweet counsel together? He said, if it was the enemy, I could have hid myself. But it was my brother, my equal, my acquaintance. That man told you a man's foes will be of his own house. That man said, you think I came to bring peace? I came to bring a sword that set a man at variance. Don't you understand, man, if you down with Yahuwah, man, that's going to cause a separation between you and other people? You think because we Israelites, that's going to bring us together. Oh, no, sir. Oh, no, sir. Because some of these niggas ain't going to stand on the name of Yahuwah, man. And those of you who do, it's going to make a separation. And it's going to be enmity between the woman's seed and the serpent seed. And the just going to be an abomination to the unjust. And the unjust going to be an abomination to the just. See, you see the text, but you don't believe it. The man tell you the children of the flesh persecute the children of the Ruach as it is this day. Don't you understand that the children of damnation going to persecute the children of the promise? What type of brain you got? What book you been reading? Come on back to Songs of Solomon, chapter 3, man. I only tell you this so you be prepared, so you don't be looking ugly in the face, man. You know what I'm talking about? When these people come to do what it is that they coming to do. I don't want you to be looking crazy like, man, we supposed to be brothers. That man don't care nothing about that. That boy the devil, man. Oh, you thought because he had fringes and a mitre on that he was a god? Oh, you thought because he put Israel in his name. And I meant to mention that, right? When he say he'll surname himself Israel, the word surname is Kana. It means a flattering title. See, Jacob's name was changed to Yasharal because he didn't wrestle with flesh and blood. He wrestled with a Malachim and overcame. He overcame because his faith in the name of whom he served, which is Yahuwah. And he told him, as he said, you know what? You'll be as Elohim. And as a prince, you'll rule as Elohim. So you can't give yourself the last name of Yasharal because that is the name of Elohim. You called by that name. So yield into that nature and authority. Don't you understand how long-suffering Jacob was when he was dealing with Laban? Don't you understand how faithful he was when he said, if you keep me in this way that I go, I'll give you a tenth of everything that I got? Don't you understand how faithful he was that he labored for his wife for 14? See, we don't even be looking at the character. Shalom, Sister Jice. We don't be looking at the character of these men. If he named the man Yasharal and he said, you as a prince can rule with Elohim and man, then go look at the character of these men. And you'll see the character of Yahuwah. See, you want these men named, but you don't want their heart. That's why he said, if you be Abraham's seed, you do the works of Abraham. But we don't do the works of Abraham. Songs of Solomon 3 and 11. Go forth, you daughters of Zion, and behold King Solomon with the crown, wherewith his mother crowned him in the day of his espousals, and the day of the gladness of his heart. Do you know who was his mother? Jerusalem, which is the mother of us all. When he was crowned with his attar, which is to be given a crown, Ayin, Tet, and Raj, experience and be filled with the highest, the day of his espousals. Don't you realize when he came out of that grave, that was the day of his espousals? That word is kathanu, wedding or marriage, because that's what people don't understand. When you get espoused in the text, you got married. Ain't no fiance. Ain't no none of that. That's your husband. That's your wife. You entered into a covenant with the person. What sealed the marriage was the sex. Once the covenant is entered into, that is your wife. That is your husband. The wedding itself don't make the marriage. It's the covenant. The covenant is of importance. The wedding is nothing but a ceremony. It's nothing but a feast day. The covenant is when that becomes your wife. Don't you know that from Ezekiel 16 and 8? He said, I entered into a covenant with you and you became mine. Once you entered into a covenant with that man, you his wife. Why did we look at all that? Why are we talking about all of this? Why is all this stuff important? You know what I'm talking about? I'm going to save this Leviticus just for time's sake. Just for time's sake. But go to Revelation 2 and 11. Go to Revelation 2 and 11. I got one more. Revelation 2 and 11. We got one more thing to make this prevalent and relevant, and we're going to get out of here. Listen to what he said. It's the same thing I told you earlier when we were talking about what we dealt back about a couple years back with Nebuchadnezzar. What it say right here in Revelation 2 and 11. He that have an ear, let him hear. Well, back it up. Revelation 2 and 10. Let's start with that. Revelation 2 and 10. Let's start with that. Let's start with that. Revelation 2 and 10. Let's start with that. If I can get online, everything be fine. Fear none of those things which you shall suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast of you into prison that you may be tried. You shall have tribulation 10 days. Be faithful unto death, and I will give you a crown of life. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Ruach saith unto the synagogues. He that overcome shall not be hurt of the second death. Revelation chapter 3, verse 11. Behold, I come quickly. Let no man take your crown. Don't let nobody take that from you. You know what I'm talking about? Now, what's the last thing that we need to look at? Well, we need to look at Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 4. And all this stuff about crowns and not being alone, that it's not good for man to be alone, and sitting back and look at how the Ruach, with you without the Ruach, because the Ruach is, he tell you that this is able to keep you from falling. And of course, they tell you that the Ruach will bring to remembrance everything that he said unto you, so that he would be an aid, a help, and a relief. So when you look at the aspect, when he say it's not good for man to be alone, I give a helpmeet to him, for man to be separated. Because man is separated from Elohim without the Ruach. You know what I'm talking about? That's why he said, I will not leave you comfortless. I will not leave you bereft of a father. I will not leave you as an orphan. I will not leave you without a teacher and a guide. And this comforter will be an aid and a help and a relief to you. A place of rest for you. You know what I'm talking about? Like I say, with the virtuous woman, her husband's heart rests safely in her, that he have no need of spoil. Because God ain't going to spoil you. He ain't going to take nothing from you. That page ain't in this book. Proverbs 12 and 4. What does it say? A virtuous woman, a crown to her husband. But she that make ashamed is rottenness in her bones. So you know that virtuous is Kayil. It means strength, might, efficiency, wealth. So when you look at a virtuous woman, what makes her virtuous is what makes her strong. Well, what makes her strong? Trust in Yahuwah. For trust in Yahuwah is everlasting strength. That's really what a virtuous woman is. A virtuous woman is a woman who fears and trusts in Yahuwah. If that woman does not have a reverence and a trust in Yahuwah, then she is not a virtuous woman. You're not a virtuous woman because you cook food. You're not a virtuous woman because you make clothes. You're not a virtuous woman because you tend to a garden. You are a virtuous woman because you have a fear, hope, trust, and faith in the living Elohim's word. That is what makes you a virtuous woman. And then because of that level of faith, then the manifestation of you being a helpmeet is made plain, because you love God enough to operate in the plan and position that he gave you in order to bring esteem to his name, because that's the level of respect and reverence that you have for him. That's how that works. You ain't got to agree with it. Take it up with the Lord. I don't care. You know what I'm talking about? So he says a faithful woman of this sort is a crown, a atarah to her Baal or her husband. So why is that important? We talked about how that crown of thorns was put on Hamashiach's head, and he said, bow the knee to the Malach of Yasharal. We sat back and looked at how David had a crown put upon his head, and that Solomon had a crown put upon his head in the day of his espousals. Because that crown would represent what? The 12 tribes of Yasharal. You know what I'm talking about? And that faithful woman is a crown to her husband's head, because that means that he can wear his wife with pride, knowing that this is a group of faithful people. See, we don't want to actually be that crown, because then you actually have to be that woman. See, when we look at Proverbs 31, man, about that woman, man, then guess what? She got to be. Strength and honor are her clothing. Wisdom is in her mouth, and kindness is on her tongue. That's the kind of person you got to be, and we don't want to be that. But hallelujah for Yahushua. We'll pick up some more on the Shabbat, man. I appreciate y'all time, because we rode an extra 30, 40 minutes. And I bless you out the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua, man. Prayerfully, you got something out the deal. Of course, we can go back and reiterate a few things that we touched on, man, as it pertains to that Genesis 2 with it's not good for man to be. See, we don't even realize that Yahuwah did the same thing for us that he did with Adam. He said it wasn't good for man to be alone, so he gave you the Ruach, so you wouldn't be alone. You know what I'm talking about? Same way he gave Adam Eve, he gave you the Ruach, so you wouldn't be alone. Shoot. No doubt, Nate. You already know what it is, bro. You know what I'm talking about? And then he turned around and said that same woman is a crown to her husband. Oh, amen, bro. She's a crown. And what is a virtuous woman? It is a Kayil woman. It is a woman of strength. Her strength is derived from her faith. You know what I'm talking about? That's what makes you a virtuous woman to your husband, Mr. Sir, because you are a man of faith, because we his wife. See, sometimes we want to look at stuff, man, and we want to be so focused on looking at natural born women, but you don't want to look at the fact that, sir, you're his wife. And the very things that you want this woman to do in your house is the very things that Yahuwah wants you to do to him. Will you do it? Shalom, bro. Shoot. Yahuwah Baruch, bro. You got to think about that, man. We don't think about those things. We don't think about them things. But it's a blessing from Elohim that he saw it wasn't good for us to be alone. He said, I'm going to give you a comforter. So you can have an aid, a help, and a relief. That you can have a helpmeet. Praise Yahuwah, man. That's a blessing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Man, we be out here arguing, fighting about doctrines and things and all this stuff that don't even matter. And we be missing all the goodness, love, and grace that Yahuwah done showed us, man, that can be able to get us through. You know what I'm saying? See, a lot of people be like, man, I don't want to listen to nobody teach or this, that, there, and the third. And bro, we be forgetting what the word about, man. Do you understand that this is what done happened to us, man? I done told y'all that plenty of times. We on the internet too much talking to people about the word. So number one, you done forgot how to be a real person. Number two, you done forgot how to interact with real people. Number three, you done forgot that it's people out here who got real stuff going on that they don't care about this stuff that you on YouTube, Clubhouse, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads arguing about. They don't care. Because you got people, they brokenhearted out here, man. They beat down. They caught up in the midst of all type of things, and they spirit crying out for salvation, and they looking at you, and they be like, I don't thank God with him, so I guess I'm going to just go to hell, and they going to keep living what they living. Man, you got people, they dealing with all type of anxiety and depression and stress and all type of stuff, man. They don't care about no Trinity, bro. They don't care about who the Israelites is, bro. They don't care. All they want to know is, how can this word mend my heart so I can get closer to the essence and source of life so I can dwell with him? That's what these people care about. They don't care about no Christian doctrine, bro. They don't care about none of that. They don't care about none of that. You got people, man, they soul crying out. They want to be saved, man. And you want to go back and forth by the name, by the pronunciation. Because you done been on the internet too long arguing about things of no consequence. You know what I'm talking about? Because at the end of the day, I didn't read the Matthew 23. At the end of the day, all we're going to do is go out and make disciples who going to get on the internet and argue about doctrine just like we doing. So you done made them 2-4-fold the child of hell that you are. That's all we doing. That's all we doing. We not doing nothing else other than that. And we think we doing something. Man, we ain't doing nothing, bro. Like I told you, man, most of the people in this congregation, man, but we don't come from that, man. We regular people who came from real life situations, man. Who been in real life situations, and we seen the opportunity to be delivered from death, so we seized on it. Oh yeah, I gotta take that. I gotta roll with that. I'm gone. I gotta do that. It wasn't no, oh, we the people, oh, this or oh, that. Nigga ain't on that, bro. We know we the people. So what? We supposed to be the people of heaven. You're supposed to be coming into Elohim's family. So being after Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's family is cool, but that's not the goal. The goal is to be part of the family of Elohim, the family of Shamahim. That's the promise and access he gave us. We don't even talk about that. We don't even care about that. We don't even seek after it. So you know we ain't teaching it. But we'll turn around and say we sons and daughters of Elohim. Well, how did you become that? Because you kept commandments? That's not what he said. Just like Deuteronomy 32 say, man, this is children who have no faith. There is no Amuna, Amok, or Aman, or Batak with this people right here, man. It's non-existent, bro. It's not there. And you could tell. You could tell. Man, there's a lot of brews, man. They be doing all type of stuff. Don't nobody say nothing. Because nigga don't care. Niggas be doing all type of stuff, but they'll run up on you. Where your fringes at, bro? What? This nigga was back here getting drunk and high. And you worrying about some cloth at the bottom of a shirt? Bro, this man just was finna fight this dude because they disagreed about a passage, bro. With fringes on. You know how many people I know, bro, who done had fringes on and sin like nobody's business? That means them fringes ain't serve you no purpose. Because it said it's for you to stop the going the horn after your own heart. You mean to tell me you need a cloth at the bottom of your shirt to not go after your own lust and to go after God? That's supposed to be in you, not on you, son. That's the problem. We want it on us, but not in us, man. It's got to be in you, man. When it's in you, it lasts longer. When it's on you, you're capping. You're trying to play a role. What's your name, Tom Cruise? You Dave Chappelle? You Bokeem Woodbine? You Forrest Whitaker? You Denzel Washington? Because that's what you end up doing. I've been in this game too long, boy. I done seen it. I get all that. I don't need no fringes, bro. That man say for a period of time. When you look at generations, that's door. That's for a period of time. The time of reformation has come. We got something greater than fringes, bro. You got the Ruach HaKodesh. I don't need no friends to not go after the lust of my own heart. The word in me. I ain't got to do it. I fear God. I don't need that. If you want to win, that's your business. And perpetual generations mean period of time. And that period of time has ended. The minute Hamashiach came from out that grave, I won't frustrate the mercy of God by thinking that my righteousness is built in the fact that I got fringes at the bottom of my shirt. And niggas got fringes on and sinning every day. And sinning every day. So if the fringes can't stop you from sinning, what's the purpose? It's gonna serve no purpose. If you want to win, win. I ain't gonna win. It ain't simple obedience because they got them on and you sinning. Niggas got fringes on and committing adultery. So we put the fringes above not committing adultery. I got my fringes on, but you just slept with this man's wife, bro. It's a dude who literally got a song say, sitting with my fringes on. I'll take the Ruach HaKodesh over fringes every day of the week. Because he that's born of Elohim don't commit sin. He can't sin. His seed remain in him. The Ruach of Elohim is greater than fringes. I don't deal with things of the flesh. I don't deal with things of this life. I deal with the things of heaven. If you want to win, win. I ain't. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not going to do it. I don't knock nobody who do. You know what I'm talking about? But I ain't doing it. So don't. Now you what you're doing there is a false equivalency. Because not wearing fringes and not keeping the Shabbat are two separate matters. It's two separate matters. Two separate matters. Because literally the purpose of fringes is for you not to go a whoring after your own heart. That's what they for. But now this man say that you got this man word written on fleshly tables of the heart. If the word in you, I don't need that on me because it's in me. See, we looking for outward appearance. I don't esteem in that. I've been around too many brews who wear fringes and evil as hell. I've been around too many. I done seen too many. See, you come with that Matthew 5:19, bro. I ain't gonna do it for you. Because that ain't what he talking about. Because when he talking about your righteousness exceed the scribes and Pharisees, he wasn't talking about no laws, bro. He wasn't talking about no laws. Them men ain't had no faith. They ain't believe in God. They didn't trust in God. Keeping commandments is nothing, bro. That's easy. You know how easy it is not to eat pork, bro? You know how easy it is to keep the Sabbath? That don't take no effort. But when we go to talk about judgment, mercy, and faith, don't nobody want to do that. When we go to talk about the character of Elohim, don't nobody want to do that. We boast in fringes, not eating pork and Sabbath days, and think we just before God. Well, we got a problem. We got a problem because we ain't nowhere where we need to be. Fringes don't sanctify you, bro. Fringes don't sanctify you. They don't. He says sanctify them by your truth. Sanctify them by your fidelity, your steadfastness, your faithfulness. That's what set us apart. Fringes don't set you apart. It don't. It don't. But you know what? I'm good on that, bro. You can rock out with that because we don't wear fringes, bro. Nobody around here do. You know what I'm saying? None of us do. And truth be told, they probably more righteous than the most of the individuals who wear them every day. Like straight up, bro. I done been around dudes with fringes on and look you dead in your face, tell you a bold-faced lie. You know what I'm talking about? Look right at their fringes, look you right in your eyes and lie. Straight them down. I done seen it too many times. The fringes are not a part of the covenant, bro. He didn't promise you fringes, bro. When you're dealing with a covenant, you're dealing with a promise. He didn't promise you a law. That's not what he promised us. He didn't promise us no law, man. That's not a part of the promise. He didn't promise I was going to give you a law. He didn't. That's not what he promised us, bro. And you got it, bro. I'm trying to tell you. And guess what? You want to hold to that covenant which is gone, or you want to hold to a covenant that's greater that can give you everlasting life? Because I'm going to hold to the one that can give me everlasting life. I'm going to hold to the one that can have my sins remitted. Because if I hold to the one that can't give me everlasting life, that means I'm dead in my sins. And if I'm dead in my sins, I'm separated from God. And if I'm separated from God, I ain't got no life, bro. I ain't got no life without Yahuwah. If I ain't got Yahuwah, I would rather be dead, because what is life without him? It ain't no life. The law is not a part of the everlasting covenant, bro. It's not. That's not what he promised you. He did not promise Abraham a law. He did not promise Isaac a law. And he did not promise Jacob a law. That is not what he promised them. It's not. And when the heaven and earth pass, ain't gonna be no law in the kingdom, bro. Not in the kingdom of Shamahim. But that's a whole nother matter, man. That's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother conversation, bro. I'm just sitting here telling you, when you go read Genesis, show me where he promised Abraham a law. Because I can't see it nowhere. I didn't see him promise him don't eat no pork. Keep a Sabbath day. That's not what he promised that man. That's why we in trouble, because we think our righteousness come from the law. You think God owe you. That man don't owe you nothing. We owe him. We can't even see that, man. Bro, that's not the covenant, bro. You can't read that nowhere. You can't read Yahuwah promising Abraham a law. He promised him a seed and a land. That's what he promised him. When he came to Isaac, he said, man, I'm going to give you this land and I'm going to give you a seed. And when he got to Jacob, Jacob never seen the law. The man died in Egypt, bro. The law was not a part of the promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It wasn't. Them boys was keeping the law. So you know that wasn't a promise. They was keeping it. They was literally keeping it. Joseph was keeping it. They were all keeping it. That's not what he promised them. When would our people understand that he didn't promise us that? Bro, you missing the point when I say the law. You don't understand because you ain't never heard her talk about that, bro. See, I can already tell you dealing on the elementary level. No disrespect. You know what I'm talking about? But things going to be like what it was meant to be with the tree of life. When heaven and earth pass, ain't going to be no need for the law because ain't going to be no sinners there. Ain't going to be no sinners there. The law is for sinners, not for the righteous. That's who the law for, sinners. If everybody born of Elohim, ain't no need for it because ain't no sinners there. We don't even understand that. That's who the law for is for sinners. That's why he told Adam not to touch it. That's why he told him not to touch it. And we don't even realize that. We don't even realize that, man. The law for sin. If everybody born of God, what you need the law for in the word in you? What you need it for? Who you teaching it to? We got a long way to go, people. I promise we do. I promise we do. We don't even know our God, man. We got a problem. You know what I'm talking about? We got a problem. I don't think a lot of people realize that. Y'all do know Abraham was keeping the law, and Yahuwah didn't give him no law, not by no covenant. Isaac was keeping it. Jacob was keeping it. How you think Joseph knew not to commit adultery? How you think he knew that? How you think Judah knew that his son was supposed to raise up a seed to his wife after his oldest son died? How you think they knew that? Yeah, it just don't know. It just don't know. But hey, y'all, I bless y'all the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua, man. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all know we coming back out on a Friday, man. Make it do what it do. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all know we drawing closer. What this is, August, ain't it? So y'all know next month, trumpets on the way. Atonement on the way. You know what I'm talking about? So, Muffin, I need you to get your numbers together. You know what I'm saying? Let me know how you're going to play it so we can already be well ahead of the game before it even come around. You know what I'm talking about? But Boop just heard me told this here. If Muffin done decided to lay down. So, you know, y'all can collaborate and demonstrate what y'all come up with when y'all do that. Oh, they go Lee. Lee, you going to bake this time? Somebody need to make Kalisha do some work on top of that. Because she looked like she'd be trying to duck out on some work. And if Jessica come down here, she need to work too. Who else on here? We need to put Nisha. We need to put everybody to work. We need to put Lil Muffin to work. Not my Muffin, that Muffin. We need to put her to work. She need to do some work. You know what I'm talking about? And I ain't joking about that. Being dead serious too. Ladies, it's time for Leah to work, Lizzie to work, Muffin to work, Sai to work. They old enough to start working. Well, they been old enough, but it ain't come across my mind. It's on my mind right now. It's time for Leah to work. It's time for Sir. It's time for Muffin to work. It's time for Elizabeth to work. I'm missing anybody. Did I leave anybody out, boo? How old Malia is? Yeah, it's time. Yeah, Malia can work. She's 7 years old. Yeah, she. No, Abby she ain't ready yet. Say, Jack, yeah, put him to work. Put him to work. You say, we're going to put him to work. You doing 1 day leave? Cool. You know, y'all let me know. Yeah, put him to work. But it's mainly the young lady, they need to, it's about that time for them. They don't need to be sitting around. They need to be helping while y'all in that kitchen, and they need to be helping passing out some plates. That time period, talking about sitting at the table. Hold on, I got you, bro. I don't even know how to, hold up. Oh, they on the cleanup? Oh, man, you know my memory bad, man. You know my mind ain't all, you know what I'm saying? You know I be forgetting stuff, man. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, man. Shalom, bro. What's good with you? Huh? What you say, bro?
Yeah. So I hear you saying that we don't have to speak fringes. So I just wanted to see you got the scripture for that, brother.
I ain't saying that we don't have to. You can do whatever you want to. I say we don't. We don't wear them. And we can explain to you why we don't wear them. But that's not even something that we focus on going around telling people not to wear them, because we just don't really care that much. If you wear them, you wear them. If you don't, you don't. Like, we don't really get caught up in what other people do or what they don't do. If you say this is what, like, if dudes say, hey, man, we believe in multiple wives, and they give their case why they do, that's fine. We don't. We'll give our case why we don't. But it's not that serious, because whatever somebody doing, that's what you doing. And this is what we do over here. And if you get down with us, this is how we roll. But if a brother came around here and he said, oh, I'm wearing fringes, we're not going to be like, oh, you got to take them off. No, we're not going to do that. We'll just explain to you why this is why we don't wear them. If you want to wear them, that's fine, bro. I ain't going to be like, that man's wicked. He's got fringes on. That's insane. You know what I'm saying? We don't really do that. We don't really get caught up on pointing fingers at what other people do or don't do. You know what I'm saying? Like, our women don't wear jewelry. We don't point fingers at women who do wear jewelry. If you wear jewelry, you wear jewelry. Our women don't. If you ask why, we'll explain it to you. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what it is. You know what I'm saying? It ain't a son like that junk just came up just cause a conversation we just had because we were just somewhere, we was just at the Fringe Fest. You know what I'm saying? In Atlanta. You know what I'm talking about? We ain't had none on. I mean, we weren't the only people out there ain't had none on, but a lot of people did. I didn't care. I didn't sit back and look at them. Why they got fringes on? Like, who cares? If you wear them, you wear them. You don't, you don't. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, what's more important? That you had a faith in God. Because like I said, bro, I've been around so many brews that wore fringes, boy, and turn around and tell you a bold-faced lie. Got so many idols in their heart, you know what I'm saying? Do all type of stuff. So I'd be like, bro, if you could have them fringes on, bro, and still sin, what was the purpose of them even having them on? You know what I'm talking about? That means you don't fear God at all. They didn't benefit you. At the end of the day, we have to be looking at the things that we do. What is the benefit that you getting from doing it? And if you're not getting any benefit from doing it, then you would have to assess, then why are you doing it? Just like he said, man, we come to this man making prayers and there's blood on our hands, or we come keeping Sabbaths, but your mind ain't even there. Like I would tell a man, bro, if your mind on the Sabbath is, man, I can't wait for the Sabbath to be over, or you thinking it's about you laying up in the bed, not doing nothing, or you on the Sabbath and you feel like it's a day to just do whatever it is that you want to do, you might as well not even keep it. Because what's the point? It's not like he's gonna accept it. Mm-hmm.
So the scripture testifies Second Timothy, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we come to the Mashiach and our faith in him, verse 19 says,
Say 2 and 19.
Nevertheless, the foundation of God standeth sure, having this seal, the Lord knoweth them that are his, and let everyone that nameth the name of Christ depart from iniquity. So saying if you call on the name of authority of Christ, you have to depart from iniquity. Is not wearing fringes iniquity?
No, it's not. Because the Hebrew word for iniquity is avon. That's depravity. That's perversity. You not wearing fringes don't make you perverse. You not wearing fringes don't make you deprived. Come here and kill this ant, baby. Muffin, come get this ant before your mama see it and go crazy later.
So you don't see iniquity as being synonymous with sin?
No, because you have three different things. You got iniquity, sin, and transgression. Transgression is the Hebrew word kasha, which is rebellion. Sin is kata, which is guilt for sin. And then iniquity is avon, which is perversity or depravity. So those are three different things. You could commit sin, but not be a rebel. But you could be a rebel and not commit iniquity. You not wearing fringes doesn't make you perverse. Doesn't make you deprived. It just makes you a person who don't got fringes on.
Same word for iniquity in the Greek is adikia, G93. It comes up in 1 John 5 and 13. It says, all unrighteousness is sin, and there is a sin not unto death. The word for unrighteousness is that same Greek word adikia. So it's showing me that iniquity is sin. Is that not like synonymous?
No, not at all. Because you don't even have a judgment for not wearing fringes. So what's the punishment for it? Every sin got a punishment for it. The tree of good and evil in the law in Genesis is the law, because that's what the law is. It's the knowledge of good and evil. So what good and evil is being committed if you don't wear fringes? What evil have you done? And then I ask you this question. What fringes did Abraham wear? What fringes did Isaac wear? What fringes did Jacob wear? What fringes did Noah wear? What fringes did Adam wear? All of these men are determined to be just and righteous in heaven, and none of them wore fringes.
So let me just answer that real quick. Yeah? The Romans 4:15 15, it says, "There's no law, there's no sin." But when the Most High hasn't, given a law, we're not required to keep it. So the dispensation of time of Abraham, I think, like you mentioned, that law was given us yet. The Most High doesn't expect you to keep something that hasn't been given us yet. For example, in the time of Noah, there was the law regarding you can't kill. You get me? You can eat any animal. Right then, it would have been a sin. Okay. But now we can see in this dispensation of time, Israel, now we can't eat such animals. Now when it comes to fringes, right? Not every single commandment, has a judgment on it. However, it is still a commandment. And a sin is simply transgressing the commandment, 1 John 3 and 4. So I don't see why mentioning the judgment would lessen the requirement or the significance of the commandment. You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, when you mention that where there is no law, there's no sin, that's not dealing with what most people teach that to mean. That's dealing what was in the garden. The tree of knowledge and good and evil was the law. That's why they were blind, if you would, because they had no sin. Once they touched it, their eyes could see because they had sinned. So where there is no law, there is no sin, because the law is for sinners, and Adam was not a sinner. So where the Ruach HaKodesh is present, that person is not a sinner. So there's no need for the law, because the penalty for the law is death if you break it. Those who have the Ruach HaKodesh are not under the law, because the judgment of death does not abide with them, because they operate in what? Joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, meekness, and self-control. Against such there is no law, because you can't be put to death for doing those things. You know what I'm talking about? So that's the part of when that's what makes Elohim eternal, because he does things that do not allow death. And when we do things that are like him, then death does not abide on us. And we put so much stock on outward things that's why the inward is desolate and full of dead men's bones. You know what I'm saying? That's what we don't be understanding. Because like I said, bro, I know plenty of dudes wear fringes and they're evil as hell. They're evil as hell. And I know people who don't wear fringes and they're just men. And they've mortified the deeds of the flesh, and they serve Elohim in faith and hope. It's not even about diminishing. You're holding on to something that doesn't profit. See, let me show you something, man. Let me just show you something in Hebrew 9 real quick, man. While we telling you, why we stand on what we stand on. Because like this is an irrelevant conversation. This don't benefit or profit nobody, truth be told. But when you look at Hebrew 9 and 8, the Ruach HaKodesh, this signifying into the Kadash of all, was not yet made manifest, while as the first tabernacle was yet standing, which a figure for then present, in which that were offered both gifts and sacrifices, that could not make him that did the service perfect as pertaining to the conscience. So as it pertains to fringes, they can't make you perfect in the mind. Next thing he say is, only in meats and drinks, hold on, I'm not finished, drinks and diverse washings and carnal ordinances imposed on them until the time of Reformation. So when you look at that carnal ordinance, that's what the fringes are. That is a carnal ordinance that was on us until the time of Reformation. The time of Reformation is here. So you're no longer held to that. The same way that you're no longer held to the high priesthood of Aaron. There is no more high priesthood of Aaron. It doesn't exist. No, because he mentioned that separate from that, brother. But that's not just mentioning that. He said also meats, drinks, diverse washings, and carnal ordinances. It hadn't even got to the point of mentioning animal sacrifices. There were other things imposed on the house of Yasharal besides animal sacrifices. And fringes is a part of those carnal ordinances that were imposed on us until the time of Reformation.
in meat and drinks, right?
Right.
Check it out real quick. Hebrews chapter 9.
Mm-hmm.
On verse 9 it says, actually at verse 10 it says, which stood only in meats and drinks. But wait, talk about context. Hebrews 9 and 9, which was a figure for the time then present, in which were offered gifts and sacrifices that could not make him that did the service perfect as pertaining to the conscience. So what service is being spoke about in Hebrews 9 and 9?
All of them. When you're talking about meats, bro, you had meat offerings, you got drink offerings. It also talked about the washings that the people had to do, and the carnal ordinances are separate from the sacrifices that are being mentioned. He's mentioning multiple different things. They're not all one thing, mutually exclusive.
So I hear your answer, right? However, I'm led by the text to believe that he's speaking directly in reference to the priestly service, because that's what verse 6 establishes the context is. When you read when it says, now when these things were thus ordained, the priest went always into the first tabernacle, accomplishing the service of God. Into the second went the high priest alone once every year, not without blood, which he offered for himself and for the errors of the people, the Holy Spirit, this signifying that the way into the holiest of all was not yet made manifest, while as the first tabernacle was yet standing. So far, specifically talking about the priest and his service. Verse 9 says, which was a figure for the time then present. What was the figure? The priest's service in the tabernacle, in which were offered both gifts and sacrifices that could not make him that did the service perfect as pertaining to conscience, saying that he couldn't purge the priest. Okay? And verse 10 says, which stood only in meats and drinks. What stood only in meats and drinks? Verse 6 established context is the priest service of the temple, not the whole nation's commandments. It says, and diverse washings. What are the diverse washings? Washings of the priest related to them having to labor, etc. We know these things, right? It says, and carnal ordinances imposed on them until the time of these carnal ordinances is speaking in context to the priest.
Well, we know that that's referring to Day of Atonement specifically. We already know that. Okay, but listen to me. Listen to me. When you're dealing with the time of Reformation, you're dealing with a renewing. A renewing. So now you've been reformed. So am I going to see? I don't look down at my feet. I look up towards Shamahim. I don't need no cloth at the bottom of my shirt to remember not to sin, bro. I don't need that. If you need that, that's your business. I don't. We've been born of God. We're born of the word. God don't need fringes. He said he gave you power to become the sons of Elohim. You think the Father and the Son sitting in heaven with fringes on to remember not to sin, bro? I don't care about what he did on the earth. I said in heaven, he's not the son of Adam anymore. He's the son of Elohim. You think he's sitting in heaven with fringes on? So he don't sin? But remember, what were fringes for? Listen, what were fringes for? What were fringes for? What were they for? Hold on, answer that question. What were fringes for?
Fringes, yeah, were so that we wouldn't fall after other gods or after our own ideologies, and that we would remember to keep God's commandments.
So don't the Ruach HaKodesh say he'll bring to remembrance everything that he said to you, and that whoever have the Ruach who is born of God don't commit sin? Ain't that's what it say?
Well, I agree with that, and I also believe this. It tells you in Ezekiel 11 and 20, verse 19, it says, and I will give them one heart, and I will put a new ruach within you, and I will take the stony heart of their flesh, and will give them an heart of flesh, so they may walk in my statutes and keep my ordinances and do them, and they shall be my people, and I will be their Elohim.
If you got a new heart and a new spirit, don't that mean you've been born again and you a son of God? So, okay, does a son of God need to look at a piece of cloth to remember not to sin? So you telling me that a son of God need to look at fringes to remember not to? So God need to look at some cloth to remember not to sin. That's what you're saying.
In God's wisdom, He has prescribed that for us. Yes.
I didn't say us. I say, do God need to look at fringes to remember not to sin? Because He said, as He is, so shall we be. So does God need to look at fringes to remember not to sin?
No, of course not.
So if we born of God, do we need to look at fringes to remember not to sin if we're born of Him?
Well, according to Ezekiel 11 and 20,
I answer this is what I'm telling you now. He said He gave you power to become the sons of Elohim, and that you must be born again and be born of the Ruach. And he that is born of Elohim do not commit sin. He cannot sin. His seed remains in him. So if you're born of God and the word is in you that it will not allow you to sin, do you need to look at fringes to not sin? Because the question comes down to this: which is greater, fringes or Ruach? Which one is greater?
So it's synonymous. You can't take away the fringes from the ruach.
Yes, I can, because you don't get the Ruach by keeping the law. Go ahead.
The ruach is leading you to righteousness, into obedience to the Most High, walking in His
What is righteousness?
fringes are one of those statutes.
What is righteousness?
According to the book of Romans chapter 3, yeah, real quick. Romans chapter 3 and verse 21 says, actually verse 22 says, even the righteousness of God which is by faith in Yahushua Mashiach, unto all and upon all them that I believe, that there is no difference. The righteousness is having faith.
So then righteousness don't come from the law then? Yes or no?
That's very true. Righteousness doesn't come from the law.
So then boom, boom. Now follow me now. I'm asking this for a reason, bro. And if I ain't trying to be rude, so I apologize if it come out that way. So with that being said, do you receive the Ruach by faith or by works of the law?
By the hearing of faith.
So then the wearing fringes ain't gonna serve you no purpose to get it what it is that you say that you after. Because you can't get them. You can wear fringes every day and still never get the Ruach.
So that may be the case, but wearing fringes, yeah, is still, included in that faith, and it's still
No, it's not.
required.
Well, hold on. Let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question. In Genesis 15, what did Yahuwah say about Abraham?
He said he believed God and he was counted to him for righteousness.
What fringes did Abraham have on when that was said?
Bro, I told you already.
I'm just saying, hold on. The reason why I asked you this question, because Isaiah 51 tell you to look unto Abraham, your father, and Yahushua himself said, do the works of Abraham.
If that's the case, then we can worry our sister and we, near kin is off limits. You get me? Because there was also the laws in Abraham's days. Let's see some pork, right? And what even is the Shabbat? Because it wasn't revealed to Abraham.
Abraham was keeping the Shabbat. That's not accurate. Abraham was taught by the high priest of Elohim, him after the order of Melchizedek. So that's not accurate. I didn't try to that. It tells you that in Genesis chapter 14 that he met Melchizedek, the priest of the Most High Elohim. If he paid tithes to Melchizedek, you don't think Melchizedek taught him a Yahuwah?
So what I would say to that, brother, is I believe that's in conflict with the book of Nehemiah, right? Chapter 9, verse where we are, verse 11, verse 12, verse 51, verse 14. It says, "And madest known unto them the holy Sabbath, and commandest them precepts, statutes, and laws by the hand of Moses thy servant."
Bro.
So the Most High, one second, bro, the Most High made known to the Israelites the Sabbath.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. So you don't believe that nobody had Yahuwah's law until Mount Sinai? Is that what you're saying?
The law wasn't given until Mount Sinai.
Okay, so then why would Yahuwah flood the earth if them people didn't have a law to break? That would make Yahuwah unjust. Because it said they, hold on, listen to me. Because Genesis 6 said they corrupted the way of Yahuwah. Way is Darak. That's a way of life. What way of life did they corrupt? Because to get punished for sin, what sin were they committing? And they had to be knowing that they were committing the sin for him to punish them.
So, bro. So, yeah, the Bible says, the wickedness of man was great, right? They were committing sin. So, I didn't answer that the best, yeah? So, clearly, there was some instruction given in those days. There was some law, but the Most High law's dispensational is different. And it isn't revealed to us exactly.
So, you saying the law that they had before Mount Sinai was different?
For example, yeah, the priesthood, the Ark of the Covenant.
I mean, come on, bro. That's splitting here. That's dealing with temple service. That's not what we're talking about. How did Joseph know not to commit adultery? It literally says that Joseph said, "If I do this, I sin against my God." How did he know that?
I'm saying that with laws given, I'm just saying there was a distinction because even Abimelech said to the Most High he was a righteous nation. How could he be righteous?
So this is my point. My point was that means they had this man law to keep before Mount Sinai. How did they get it? Somebody had to teach it to them.
Gave mankind instruction at that dispensation of time. You don't know if Sabbath was included in that commandment package. You can't assert that.
You know how we can assert that? Because he said that I know Abraham, that he will teach his household justice and judgment and keep the way of Yahuwah. I know what the way of Yahuwah is. It's the way of Kadash. That's what Isaiah 35 says. So if Yahuwah is testifying that Abraham will teach his household the way of Yahuwah, I can easily determine that the Shabbat was a part of that, considering that the Shabbat was created at the foundation of the world. So why would he enter into a covenant with Abraham and then not share that information after Adam and Eve learned the law in the garden? That's what Adam and Eve learned in the garden when they ate from that tree. They learned the law.
So brother, I disagree with that, and I would just say this verse supports what I'm saying. You're entitled to believe that Abraham knew about Shabbat, but I feel like this verse proves that he doesn't know about Shabbat yet. This is Deuteronomy chapter 5 and verse 14. It says, "For the 7 days is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thine ox, nor thine ass, nor any of thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates, that thy manservant or thy maidservant may rest as well as thou. And remember that thou wast a servant in the land of Egypt, and that the Lord thy God broughtest thee out thence through a mighty hand and a stretched out arm. Therefore Yahuwah thy Elohim commanded to keep a Sabbath day." So the Most High revealed to the Israelites the Sabbath, gave it to them, and it also had the meaning of, hey, this also represents how God has given you rest from bondage, from your burden. So
that's neither here nor there. All right, bro, you got it. It's all good. I appreciate your time.
So Abraham never had that kind of like rest.
All right, okay. If that's what you want, roll with it, bro. It's all good. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. I appreciate you, though. No, you good, bro. I appreciate you, bro. It's all good. It's all love, baby. It's all good. I appreciate you, man. No cap. You know what I'm saying? No. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, because yes, sir. You are blessed, man. I gotta get ready to get into bed. But yeah, y'all with it, man. We'll be back on Friday though. Y'all know what it is. You know, same bat time, same bat channel. You know what I'm talking about? About 9 p.m. You know what I mean? And we'll be out and about. You know what I'm talking about? And make it do what it do. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Bless out the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua, man. Keep it rocking, keep it standing, man. Hold on, hold tight. You know what I'm talking about? Yahuwah faithful, man. He ain't gonna fail us. Y'all with it, man. Till Shabbat, man. Make it do what it do. If anybody else on Clubhouse got something, man, you know what I'm talking about, you go ahead and share. If not, I'm finna look at these doggone